what to do. Welcome. So nice to see everyone. Thank you for making the journey to the Isle of Roux. How are you doing, Rich?
Good. I'm just concentrating. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll start. So we'll do the land acknowledgement just to settle ourselves and settle into this beautiful space and time. The Creator gifted us with this land that we are blessed to share and care for together. The Calgary Catholic... we acknowledge that the land we gather on, Mohkinstsis, is the ancestral territory of the Siksika, Sitapi, the Siksika, the Kainai, the Piikani, and the Amskapi Piikani. We acknowledge all First Nations and Métis of Treaty 7 lands, the Sutena, the Ithkabi, which includes Bearspaw, Chiniki, and Goodstoney. We commit to advancing reconciliation guided by truths, respecting treaty laws, and humbly walking alongside First Nations, Métis, and Inuit. We recognize all who live, work, and play on these lands and who now call this place home. We are very grateful to be here with you. We're so thankful to be able to make art together. We're also noticing how sunny it is outside still.
We have a new set.
Yeah.
So our set's different because
of the sun.
The sun is shining behind us. Last week it was dark out by the time we started. There was no sunlight. And now it looks like there's 2 hours left of sunlight. So are you sure you named this one 10?
I keep seeing 11. 10.
I keep seeing 10 at the top of the page.
Look,
here.
11! Exclamation point!
Right, and we do have one person with us. And I'm going to post the link again. Here's the link.
There. Share as ease.
Yeah, and then I'm also going to go back and post it.
Okay, so the wheel landed on Q this week. And so we were asking lots of questions. And in my book, Q stands for the Kalupaluk, which are the Inuit. Quagmire. The Inuit stories of the Kalupaluk are all about warnings and making sure we keep the children safe. So I think this is a pretty interesting theme to have this week. And interestingly enough, we're going to do over 2 weeks. The idea of quality and quantity came up in our talking, and we got some really good ideas for some puppet movies. So yeah, we made the structure, so we're going to do that. And I'm very excited about that. Next week, I'll also be at open house at our school, so then that'll give extra videos for Rich to play. Then he won't be so lonely. That's so nice. Okay. So yeah, if you're here, say hi. Rich is sharing the link with everybody. So if you're interested, you can come online. Really, we just like chatting with people. So if you want to join from your studio, the links are posted, or you can message Rich and we can share it with you. Excuse me. So it's really nice to see what people are working on. Rich has his materials out. I'm getting my materials out. I've been thinking about writing letters a lot lately, but also I have 2 letters in my head that I want to write. But I might get the paint out as well, so we'll see.
What do we got going so far?
The letter Q.
Letter Q.
And quality, quantity, and Kalupaluk.
Warnings. Oh, yeah. So I wrote content questions all week, but we ended up getting busy at work. So we're doubling up on Q from this week until next week.
Yeah.
2Q.
Look, I think you found this nice coral.
Put it up in front of people.
Coral bracelet.
Yeah.
And it matches. I think it must be coral, my Egyptian red ring that you found for me too. Mm-hmm. I think it matches perfectly. I'm wearing all the magic.
Did you click share?
I did.
Here's the thing: is when we used to run Rumble House, and we needed people. Oh, look at that! Look what's happening there. That camera's shaking.
It's nonstop shaking. I don't know what it's attached to.
It's touching something.
Yeah, because I'm making sure I'm not touching anything. Like I'm touching the floor, but. Oh, it's touching the computer. It's up against the computer.
Hi.
Sorry, yeah.
Just be like friends.
Be cool. Be cool.
Yeah.
I need to get some of my different paper after.
But still, shake the table.
The table?
Now shake the table. Okay. That'll be good.
So.
Now never shake the table.
The concept of this week, I've thought about a lot about when there's lots of things going on, to do one small thing at a time. So, like,
what a good idea.
Instead of doing like lots and getting overwhelmed,
that's
to
my
do
idea.
One small thing.
That's mine.
It's your idea?
Yeah.
Oh. When did you say it?
Oh, my whole life.
Every day?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's my.
And also you always quote
ever loving
Martin Luther King.
Yeah, but okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take ownership of that idea. You can also use that idea.
Hi, Amanda.
But I've been saying this for like 20 years, and it's part of my class teaching, and I said it 3 times today.
Really?
Yeah, and I even have a narrative I've tied to like wrestling about it, and so block by block, it's in my book.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
True.
Okay.
That is true.
No, it just sounded like you invented it.
I wasn't saying I invented it. I was reading.
You know who's got good ideas?
It's true. But you know what I was actually, there was.
I'm also the only one in the room with you, so it sounds like you're telling me and not the people.
There was a, the little pictures on the reels and Instagram and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a cute old lady. And it was like, my grandmother told me in times of trouble, a conflict or war or anything, to just do one thing, like write a letter, plant a garden. Sure. And so that's what I was thinking of. But you're totally 100% right.
Okay, let me tell you my wrestling story.
Do it.
Okay, so let me zoom. Are we going to squeeze in here?
Yes, storytelling.
So, and this comes from an actual match where I was a young man. I was wrestling. I don't know why I wrestled. I just thought I liked it, but I actually hated it. And because I was kind of like relatively big for my age, like for a wrestler, because wrestlers are usually small. Mm-hmm. Normally, like a wrestler would come into grade 10, wrestle grade 10s. Grade 11, they'd move up to grade 11. Grade 12, they wrestle grade 12s. Now, the big wrestlers, grade 10s, wrestle grade 12s. They wrestle grade 12s again in grade 11. They wrestle people their own size by grade 12. Mm-hmm. The little wrestlers can be like, grade 10 wrestle grade 10s, grade 11 wrestle grade 10s, and grade 12 wrestlers. So that's a big advantage to the little guys. But in my case, I was one of the bigger wrestlers at the top end of where the weight classes kind of plugged up. Mm. And so in grade 10, it was all grade 12 national champions that I got lined up against for my first matches. And I remember one time going against this kid that was 2 years older than me, and he was a club wrestler, and he's a good wrestler, and he's previously the provincial champion or what have you. And we locked up. There's nothing sort of magical. There was no hip toss or anything. We both fell in control of each other. And I think he had my head and I had his foot. Mm. And I remember the narrative I tell is that I had a foot, and I recognized if I really push, I could get a knee. And then I had a knee and a foot, and he had my head. And from the leverage of the knee and the foot, I got my head loose. Mm. And then I remember we were both down, and the ref's kind of like, this isn't going anywhere. I'll stand you up, guys. And then I had the knee and the foot. And I remember thinking, if I let go of the knee and the foot, I think I can take an arm and maybe part of a head. Mm. And then so piece by piece, you assess to what you have. Right. And then you claim as much as you can, moment by moment. So we had a space called Gorilla House. Started out with 8 people taking care of 8 people. By the end of the third week, it was 30 people taking care of 300 people. By the end of that year, it was around 300 people taking care of 3,000 people. Yeah. And then we changed spaces. While we're out of that space, it was down to about 300 people taking care of 30 people. And then it was back up and back up. And so we had these numbers. There's times when Gorilla House and Rumble House were taking care of our block, the next block over, and a portion of our subdivision, right? Mm-hmm. And then there was times when our gallery was just taking care of the people in our gallery, and it would expand and it would shrink, and it would expand and it would shrink. And then some days when things got tough, we would take over our block, right? The last year of Rumble, it was taking care of the gallery. Then we moved our family into our home. It's become a little bit about taking care of our family and our building.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's days where you think about like your bubble's like a spaceship, and you've either got the force fields on or you don't have the force fields on. And when you get right down to the bottom of it, there's just 3 of us left, you, me, and Felix, in this house. And the trick is to make sure that your space suit is zipped up. If you don't zip up the space suits, you get attacked by the blue meanies.
That's right.
All right, does anybody want to see my movie for the week? Our movie for the week? It's about blue meanies, and it's about taking care of your block. It's about a lot of things, but it's also about making sure your space suit is zipped up. What universe am I in right now? Wish you'd stop helping me, trying to figure it out. Okay, I got it. That wasn't so much me not knowing where the thing was, as it comes down to my brain's not working properly. And here's Lost Hero X. Something got unplugged. What just fell? Oh. Please tell me what you're telling me.
That your elbows.
I don't know what you're saying. Am I playing the wrong movie?
It looks like just the intro.
I would love to thank everybody for putting up with our professionalism tonight.
You're good. You have lots of things
Here we
that
go.
you're always looking at.
Present video. Oh, I'm in the wrong page. Losing my mind. How many people are still with us?
Lots. 4.
Lost Hero 10. Do we have to sit through the intro again?
Yeah, it's good.
Terrible.
Oh, hey, were you outside?
Yeah, I was, Garvin told me about, blue meanies.
Oh, what's a blue meanie?
You're the science officer, why don't you look it up?
Okay, give me 1 minute. Oh. Rich, they like take over your body and your mind and everything.
Yeah, like zombies or something.
And then you like go on to eat everything around you.
Eat your family, yeah.
That's terrifying.
Yeah,
Did
well,
you
that's
see
why
any?
no. That's why I was checking the ship.
Oh, that is really unnerving. What would you do if I got bit by a blue meanie?
I would zap you immediately. Because if it took over your brain, it wouldn't be you anymore.
Guess so. That's really scary. Wait, would you expect me to do that to you if you got bitten by a blue meanie?
No. Of course I would. Oh. Whoa.
Oh.
I had the worst dream.
Hi, Dad.
Yeah, bud.
What would you do if I got bit by a blue meanie?
This is the worst beginning to our show ever, and I'm taking responsibility.
I don't
it's
think
mostly my
so.
fault, but that's okay.
I think it's fine.
Context is everything. All right, so I think I still need to share the link. I'm doing my best to share it, but
I think you're doing wonderfully. I'm just gonna get water for my paints.
we used to really have to ask people to click and share the link, and it was some serious like desperation. Like if we don't share the link, we're gonna lose the gallery. But then we closed down the gallery, and we don't need to share the link the way we used to. But here's a little tip, and it works. It works for me. I've just started doing this. My social media, especially with what's going on in the world right now, is really stressing me out. And I started clicking close or thumbs down or unlike on the social media stuff I didn't like. So if you hate the show, click unlike, and the algorithm will throw us in less. If you like what we're doing here and you click like on it, here's what'll happen is the algorithm will find you more things like this. And so I spent the last week just clicking thumbs down on things I didn't like and thumbs up on things I did like. I would probably be prone to getting off social media, except when we use social media to continue what we're building here.
Ideas.
So yeah, since we're using it constructively, it's kind of a mixed burden, right? It's like it's a thing we kind of have to do.
Well, it's a tool, and if you use it for good, then it's good.
Right. But something that worked out for me in terms of using it for good was after spending a week clicking like thumbs down on things I don't like. And that's probably where it started is there's things I don't like that were coming up in my feed. I was like, I don't really like that. So I started clicking those things.
Right.
And why does it say the letter? Oh, we clicked that.
Q.
We did that.
I did it right now.
Nice.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you.
That's
talking.
okay. I thought somebody was saying Q to me, and then it's like, and then I wrote it, and I was like, I'm so confused.
Why would you say Q? That is
okay. But what I found was I got this loop of just really beautiful ideas pop up on my feed this morning, and that was pretty wonderful.
That is so nice.
Okay, that's strange. Okay, so I didn't do a great job of sharing. I screwed up the intro like 5 times. And then it looks like we've got a ton of views already. So nothing like me dropping landing on my face to feel like a big silly willy.
You're doing rich. Can I tell you?
Yeah.
You're perfect.
You think everything I do is good and it's not authentic because I'm a schlub.
No, my feelings are authentic.
Your feelings are authentic.
Yeah.
Like
quality.
Crazy. Crazy people do.
You are a man of quality and integrity.
Okay.
And
what are you going to make for art tonight?
I'm going to do
This is my hand.
Watercolor letters.
Oh, should we set this camera up? I wish I'd known that. I could have set this camera up.
No, I can show. I just like showing every once in a while.
I don't have an idea yet.
I'm a little more.
I was kind of counting on more people being involved in the.
I found more envelopes.
Where is the link, by the way? Like I know you helped me a little bit. Where I don't have it.
I do. I don't know. You text it to. Go into text.
If I just paste it, I can have it.
Go into my message. Go into me.
You said that wasn't the link.
Why doesn't your phone?
This is the
That's
trouble.
Facebook. That's
That's
Facebook. Get out of that. That's not
This is
StreamYard.
the trouble I'm having.
Here's the rub. The rub.
Can you send me the link? Or send it to Felix. It's just as easy. And I need an idea to paint. Oh, I might also need paint.
There.
Oh, isn't that nice? That's becoming really stressful.
Here, I got it to you, I think.
Okay, good. Can you also send it to Felix? Yes?
Yeah.
I need to take that one down. It's fallen off too many times. You fell off one too many times, you piece of machinery. I'm not talking to Jessica.
I am not a piece of machinery.
But if you were,
and he knows that, because
amazing.
if I was a piece of machinery, I would
amazing piece of machinery.
work better. I'd be more. Oh, what's that?
You know, it's funny, that one weird guy that keeps sending us a link that goes, seriously? And then I'm like, what is that guy talking about? If he'd sent it to this episode, I would know exactly what he's talking about.
Seriously.
Yeah, like, it must be like a fishing thing where I'm like supposed to be drawn in and argue with them. You got any ideas for me to paint?
Oh, yes. When we're talking about, ethics of quality. Ooh. Emotional, conceptual quality.
I don't even know what that means.
I feel like these are nice little cuts of paper.
This is the link for sharing.
I think so.
Copy.
I sent it to Felix. Everything's fine. Felix has it. Everything's fine.
Yeah, this was like on par with like COVID production.
It's like we have good quality stuff now, but they're still a bit sketchy.
I'm about to sketch right now.
Okay. I got my pretty faux squirrel paintbrush. I know I said faux.
I'll tell you, the wolf one intrigues me.
Faux squirrel.
One of us needs to get on that camera. Do you see? Look at. Yeah, it only make. Are you looking?
What if I squish over a little bit more?
Is it just? No, I'll turn it this way. It might be touching. It might. Okay, is that too close?
No.
It is a weird setup. It's like.
Let's watch.
Watch. Hold
the
on.
top of
Oh no! Here we go. Look at. Nah. Before it was like this. There we go.
Oh, I do like that.
Hi.
So,
it's like your arm is coming out the wrong spot. Hey.
I really like that. It's because we were listening to Schubert.
Yeah.
And thinking about Kandinsky today.
Yeah.
And you said you were listening to it with your kids today in school.
I did.
And the idea of like that abstract, like trying to get at a core visual, listening to music. I don't know. I think like the arm coming out of my head actually seems to work with that idea for some reason. I'm trying to think of how.
Well, do you talk to your kids about what abstract means?
Yes. Spirit.
I also talk to my kids about what abstract means. And often it leads to a weird sort of conversation because let's just see. Do we have anybody online that wants to contribute what they think abstract means? Kelly? Oh, I see you with us. Kelly, can you tell us what
Kelly.
Abstract means? The reason I ask is a lot of people will sort of leap to the idea that abstract means random. And it really doesn't.
It's the opposite.
Yeah, well, abstract's more like your
spirit.
Your soul without your face, right? Yeah. And so it's much more authentic than your face. And
that's really interesting.
So
your soul without your face. I've been
it's without the surface, right?
Because I've been thinking about like age and how, and the same line has been coming up in my life lately, is that you don't age. You are the same person before birth, during birth, through your life, and as you get to the end of your life. And it's just your physical shell that ages, and the idea of like your spirit is this never-ending thing. And so that the fact that you just said that really fits with like what's been coming up in my thoughts lately is we're this beautiful like electricity.
Yeah.
And that's the abstract. And then the thought of, right? Like the thought of the physical, like you said, the face, the surface is just temporary.
Yeah. And I told this story 3 times today, but there was this day where I went into a McDonald's, and the guy in front of me, he's like one of those beautiful people. And sometimes, well, you probably wouldn't understand this because you're one of those beautiful people. But I was at McDonald's kind of like irritated by, can you move down that way a bit?
Yeah.
Sort of the chair.
Away?
That way, yeah. Sorry.
That's okay.
No, I love you.
I love you. Could you please move?
No, I'm not trying to get rid of you.
I'm just kidding.
Just,
keep telling your story. I love it.
There's a man and a lady. They had like fancy pocket jeans, and they had like expensive haircuts, and they had all the stuff that a mid-looking person like myself would envy. And I was being petty and just like irritated by their overall beauty. Like for some reason, I see people that are so beautiful, and I think, oh, they must be, you know, whatever. This is not coming out well. And I remember also, though, that the people on the other side of the tail were a little mortified, like something weird was going on, and I couldn't tell what it was. I could see the side profile of this guy, and I could see the back of the lady, and I could also see the people at the tail were really like uncomfortable. And I don't know if the lady was in a fire or attacked by a bear, but when she turned around, it was like a good portion of her face was missing. And what struck me was this guy who just looked at his wife with such love, as though she was the most beautiful woman in the world, and saw right through whatever damage had happened to her. Mm-hmm. And I remember thinking, that's the kind of person I want to be, which ironically, I ended up marrying the most beautiful woman in the world, which kind of ruins the story as well. But I just remember thinking that's the kind of person I want to be that's not. And you know that I love you for your insides, right?
Yeah.
It's convenient that you're beautiful. Sometimes it's inconvenient that you're beautiful. And like trying to get across the state campus alive. That's not really funny. I'm going to lose friends everywhere. But the idea that it's the inside of a person that you fall in love with. And that's what I love about abstraction is you're trying to forget the surface and get to a deeper, to get to the soul of things.
You're wonderful, my love.
It's okay that I'm not. I am having a rough day. I had a migraine.
It's been a migraine week again. Yeah. Like that's kind of why we didn't make stuff either. Is like,
and then I kind of drove home and thought, wow, I did really great for a migraine day. And then I started thinking about the things that I did say that could have been taken wrong. And so I started checking and see my email if anything got taken wrong. Because you say stuff like this so many times throughout the day. Truth is, a lot of people aren't listening. But when they are listening to part of it, they hear parts of it and it gets like misinterpreted. So I did sort of like come home with like several things that I'm like, oh, I hope that came out the way I meant it. But anyhow, I'm alive right now and I'm happy.
And you're painting.
Yeah, I'm painting.
I'm just doing backgrounds right now, but I really love the idea of color.
You know what's not working?
What?
Well, I'm either videotaping the crown of your head in my hands, or you know what I mean? Hey, can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Just one of us needs to be on camera. So if you kind of keep in the frame there.
Okay.
Thanks. Is that too? Can you work like that?
I don't know.
I keep trying to move you into the frame of the camera,
and I keep moving.
We'll just look up every now and then. Phone wasn't working too well, Kelly. Am I understanding maybe Kelly's on holiday somewhere? I don't know if I have my ringer on. I'm going to just phone Felix and see. Call Felix.
don't like this at all.
I'll just let it dry and see
This
what
color
it becomes.
combination. I just need to do something with this.
Your call has been forwarded to voice.
No answer. Hi, Kelly.
Hi.
How's it going? Oh, is the sound working and everything?
Yeah, I'm on my laptop.
Are you able to hear us and all that?
Yeah. I won't be here long. I have to go pick up Steve from the train station.
Oh, that's okay.
But I'm in a little bit of pain. I worked out this morning on the treadmill, and I walked off and I rolled my ankle.
Oh no.
So,
Was the treadmill scene still going?
It was really aggressive.
no, I had stopped, but I wasn't paying attention, I guess, or I just lost focus and stepped off and my ankle rolled.
You know what? Like treadmills are very relaxing, and you end up kind of going into a trance. It's actually kind of amazing that more people aren't hurt on treadmills because I really think that like it takes a lot of concentration. I know when I'm on my motorcycle, I am often like 100% focused on not dying. When I'm on my treadmill, I zone out and forget that it's important. And I think it probably a lot more people get hurt on treadmills. But I also think most of us don't admit it. You know, like you hurt yourself on a treadmill, you're like, nobody saw that. You know.
Yeah, so I actually had to go to the Shoppers to get a brace. I haven't put it on yet.
That does suck.
But I will be back to be online later after I get Steve.
Nice.
I'm just waiting for him to text me. So
Nice.
I still have my jacket, keys, everything.
Already, hey?
Yeah, I did make something though. I finished it.
That's good.
This is Evelyn.
I like her. A little witch's brew.
Oops, I dropped my mouse.
That's
So
really
there's a light inside. I don't think you can see it. It's really faint, but it's inside the cup.
Oh,
It's
cute.
resin. And so there is an actual tea bag in there too.
Cute. She's very cute.
Oops. So she's super cute.
Yeah.
She's the smallest one I've done so far.
Aww.
Kelly, can you do me a favor and double check that Theo has the link?
Oh yeah, I'll do that right now.
Because the last couple weeks, Theo has not been getting the link.
I'll do a copy of your face.
I don't exactly know what that mystery is, but
Thanks, Kelly.
also, Kelly, can you tell me if I'm heavy breathing into the mic?
Nope.
Okay. It's like when I eat my salad at school, I'm just like, "Can you guys hear me chewing?" And they're like, "Nope." And then I start chewing again. It's like an eruption of a volcano. It's like so loud, and I'm like, "Are you guys sure you can't hear me?" Because I actually have that. My whole family has that condition where you hear somebody chewing and you want to like mail their body parts to Timbuktu. You don't mind chewing at all, hey?
It's me. It's not about the chewing. It's about I'm really afraid to eat. I'm getting more and more afraid to eat in front of people because of like I get so obsessed with eating. I just like, and then I'm like, I probably look like a Muppet right now, like just so excited.
Also, like lip smacking. People that smack their lips when they're eating.
See, I think, like I said, you probably. The funny thing that you ended up with me because I probably do all of those things because I love eating so much. So it's like, I'm sorry.
I was a latchkey kid and I just don't know how to eat with other people. And I remember at the lunch table, my friends used to play this prank. It wasn't really a prank, but what they would do is they would notice when I went into my quiet place, because I used to go into my quiet place when they were eating, and they'd have like bits of like bacon stuck to their face, and like that sticky cheese that people use would be all over the place. Like, dude, like, please wipe that cheese off. And I would stare at my cheese and crackers. I would just have the cheese and crackers in front of my face, and I would just stare at it because I couldn't stand looking up and seeing everybody's food on their face. But then one by one, they would all start staring at their food, and they were making fun of me. I survived.
Yeah.
I grew up mostly happy. I married a wonderful lady.
That's so nice. See, there's hope. there's hope for everybody.
Kelly, what do you think about what we're doing here with this Isle of Roux? Is it weird?
No, actually, I like it.
Oh, okay.
Thanks,
That's
Kelly.
nice. Sometimes I feel a little self-conscious about it because it does seem a little strange.
No, pretty cool.
Thank you.
Did you see I tried 3 times to start my movie about the blue meanies?
No, I wasn't on there.
Have you? How many of the Space Hero X have you seen?
The one with Galen, 2 of them with Galen. The one where Felix was floating.
Right.
The other one where you were actually on a planet that was gassy or something. And then the other one where you're, I can't remember the other one, where you're in the space.
You've seen a few?
What?
Yeah, it sounds
You've
right.
seen a few?
Yeah, I've seen a few.
And do you approve? Are those weird?
No, I like them. That's what I would think. That's my mind would work like that.
Kelly, you would like the one this week because we were talking about the animation last week.
Oh yeah, mine was inspired by you this week.
Yeah, so when you see it,
You made a request and I did it.
Okay.
you'll love it.
I never did put Grover on the unicorn. He's by himself.
Or maybe you should have.
He's not. Well,
No, that was a joke because last week I was being completely difficult about you cutting up Grover, and then you said you didn't do it, and then I just pulled a 180. I'm like, oh, why not? That was me being a jerk.
I don't know what will happen. I'm thinking of putting him on the shoulder over there. I don't know yet.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like an angel on your shoulder,
Oh,
maybe. I haven't decided yet. I just got back from my mom's. They were changing all the electrical panels because she has aluminum wiring, and so they're changing them from aluminum to copper because aluminum in the house is dangerous.
that's
Okay, I'm going to segue that idea into electric batteries because,
good segue.
well, I was driving home from work and they had a guy on from the fire department, and he was talking about lithium batteries and how a lot of us have them in our homes. And we've just recently moved all of our power tools out of the gallery and into our home. And then just tripped over the fan last year. She was super apologetic, like, oh no, I've ruined the fan. And I was like, oh, that's okay, baby. Milwaukee makes fans. And so I was thinking about all the power tools being in our house, and Felix using a lithium battery fan in his bedroom. And the fire department was saying we should be more careful about having lithium batteries because I guess they burn really hot. And it reminded me of that time we set the Rumble House on fire not too long ago. Felix had a sparkler that we were going to set on fire stored in his backpack. He just walked around with a sparkler in his backpack. And I got kind of frustrated. I was trying to explain to him, like, well, sparklers are dangerous. And he didn't really believe me. So what I did to teach him, not to teach him a lesson, but to teach him the moment was I took the sparkler. I said, here, let's just look. So we did a science experiment where we took the sparklers crumbs and put them on the table and tried to light them up. And they didn't light up. They just sizzled. And I was like, oh, I guess you're right. I guess they don't really light when they're not on the stick. And so then we scooped up the mess and put the mess in the garbage. And about 20 minutes later, Jess started screaming because the garbage is on fire. It was a pretty huge fire for like garbage. It was like, and then we tried to use all the normal ways to put out the fire, but it was like one of those joke candles that won't come unlit. It just kept reigniting and reigniting. And so we doused it in water and put the fire, and it just kept coming back alive. It was like a horror movie. It was like the Terminator, really. And finally we got the fire out and started to calm down, and doused it all with water again. And then like 20 minutes later, it caught on fire again, and then the fire lit up like 4 or 5 times. And then it was Sky that let us know that, because Sky works with some of the chemicals. Is it magnesium? I can't remember.
Yeah.
And how it burns underwater. And so even just dousing the fire with water didn't help in the slightest. And so my lesson on this is why we don't screw around with magnesium did stick. But then I remember ultimately we're afraid to go home that night because
like, what if it lights again?
After it reignited so many times, there was no point where I was like feeling comfortable about putting this garbage bag into the dumpster, because we were joking about dumpster fires quite a bit that summer. And it didn't light up again. It didn't cause a catastrophe, but it did light up like hard, like 5 times in a row. And and Felix had been walking around with these crumbs in his backpack for, like, I literally took the crumbs out of his backpack and squeezed and lit them on the table, and they wouldn't ignite, and they wouldn't ignite, and they would ignite. Anybody impressed with our Jean Chrétien? You impressed with our Chrétien?
Amanda's impressed that we didn't burn Rumble House down.
Yeah. It was crazy. It was like it would just go, the fire would go out, and they were like, let's just be safe, and douse it in water. And I took the whole fire bag and I stuck it in the sink.
The whole fire bag.
And I stuck it in the sink and just soaked it, and then underwater, and then pulled it out again, and thought, well, let's just keep it there for a bit before we put it back before we start thinking about taking it out of the dumpster. And it lit up again. It's like, what's going on? It's like Chucky or something, like scary.
And here's the lesson, boys and girls and everybody.
I'm backstage again. I'll change the screen. Oh no, Kelly, I thought here.
Lovely people.
Where's Kelly?
Here's the lesson. Don't put the sparklers. I'm just experimenting like crazy today.
So Kelly, are you sticking around to make art?
She said she's coming back.
Yep.
Yeah.
There is some art there that I did last night.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
So those are stickers embedded in resin, but they still haven't been covered up. But you gave me an idea with the motorcycle.
Who did?
You did.
I practically invented motorcycles, didn't I? No.
So I had a question if I could take one of your paintings and stick it in resin.
Do you mean like a painting that you have?
No, I don't have one. But I was I like the motorcycle, and I would put it in resin
Oh.
and make it into a platter.
I'm flattered.
Flattered.
So I think it would look cool.
Kelly, I'm going to keep your voice on, and I'm going to just try and maximize the screen a bit, because you've got Jesse's there. We've got the top of Jesse's head and your table and the part of the painting that I'm not working on. And I'm trying to be like supportive of everybody, but I also need to think a little bit about the people watching, that they have something to see. Anytime you look up at the screen, I'm like, wow, I would be logged into this, because that lady is
I'll just keep talking
so
to
lovely.
the camera.
Well, no, you can make art.
I can't look down.
How can we set this up differently? Should we switch spots?
I don't. I'll figure it. I'm
Okay.
I'm just doing some backgrounds to
Am
start.
I like picking on you, or is
No,
it
I
too
don't
much?
feel picked on at all. I know I get absorbed. Like, Rich, I was the one that left like the Rumble House videos for hours, like not remembering.
And what else did you leave? Some scar tissue on my
And
psyche. Yeah,
that's what I mean. So I'm saying, don't feel bad about
reminding you.
reminding me.
I feel like, though, like I come off like a monster.
You're a monster.
Okay, who's with us that has free hands? Because I need help with a free hand. Here's what I need. I need somebody to tell me what condition my condition is in. No, what I need somebody to tell me is, could you please tell me what the weather's going to be like Friday night? What are we looking at here?
Oh, that was not.
What's the weather going to be like Friday night?
It's supposed to be snowing.
Well,
It could change.
what I want to know is it going to be clear skies
No,
for the...
It already said it's supposed to be cloudy for the Calgary area, but it could change.
You know why I want clear skies?
Yeah, for the eclipse.
For the red moon.
For the eclipse and the full moon.
Full moon.
The worm moon.
The what?
The worm moon.
I don't know this word.
So it's when the earthworm
It's a blood moon, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, no, each moon has a different name from the different indigenous peoples.
Yeah.
And there's different names for the different full moons.
Yeah.
And one of the names that is given to this one is the worm moon, because it's when the earthworms start squiggling.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Are you sure what you're saying is true?
But yeah.
Okay, good.
No, that's Jessica. She just says stuff.
Okay.
You know what's funny?
Why would I?
Okay,
Why would I
because
think?
I just say things sometimes. I know, but I've been very good about this. In class,
Sure what you're...
I will check the things I say while I'm saying it, just to make sure I'm not telling fibs. And I don't tell fibs on purpose. I do like telling stories, but I do check it.
You better check yourself
while I'm actually saying things to the children.
How?
With my phone, I Google things.
You Google in front of the kids?
Yeah, I say, "Oh,
cold-hearted."
It's not cold-hearted because
they can't Google.
Stop.
I'm
you know
sorry.
what it is?
What?
I don't want to be like, because like red, green, red, blue, and yellow, for instance.
Can I say something?
Saying this perpetually.
I was just kidding, and you're taking me very seriously, and
I take everything seriously. I don't know when people are joking, but I think it's very important that we fact check, and I don't care showing the kids, because then they know, oh, I can just check what I'm saying rather than doubling down and lying constantly.
Right.
Because I couldn't be bothered to check my facts.
Mm.
Was I too emotional about that?
No, you're perfect.
Okay.
Everything you do is perfect.
I doubt that, but
why? Oh, I didn't mean that's like sarcasm either. Okay, I do have a painting about a motorcycle right here.
I got 2 nice backgrounds for some painted letters I'm gonna send out.
That's really cute.
Friday. Hold on. Yes, I'm hoping. Friday's mainly cloudy. Snow showers around in the morning. Oh, will happen.
Cloudy at night. You know, the last couple times it was supposed to be super cloudy, and then it wasn't.
Yeah, totally. So
wasn't even. Ooh. Shit got weird at the Isle of Roux.
Oh yeah, we're on the island of Roux.
Hey, there's 11 people with us too.
That's amazing.
So let's talk about this for a second. If you're with us and you're watching the show, click like and share. And the reason you do that isn't because we need to be shared, but because it'll get you more stuff like this from the internet.
So for your own good, really.
Well, I'm going to say
oh, look at my paper towel.
Isn't that nice?
It is. Talk about celestial.
Sucks when you're like, paper towel turns out so nice. It was just not even, I wasn't even trying.
I wasn't even trying.
Not even kidding.
So cute. Okay. I feel like I am freeing up a little with my watercolor. I'm like digging in a little bit more and being rougher with it because I see that you are so like free.
Really? That's so cute. Because I'm used to you sort of being tucked away over there, and today you're like, last week you're like doing the needle stuff
in your eyeball.
Yeah, and then this week you're painting. I'm like, oh, thank God she's painting. No more needles. But your elbows and the point of your brush is right up my. I'm like, wow, she's really into it. And the camera's shaking the table, and like,
I just
trying to stay calm.
I just love making art.
That's good. It's good that you do that. And I find it's true. It's like my saddest story, okay? Oh. My saddest story. I'm going to put myself on the screen so I can tell the story. The sad face.
With a sad face.
Ooh.
How did that happen?
My mom used to sing because she's Welsh, and she sang all the time. And I don't think I ever really noticed, but I remember one time my sister said, "Stop singing, it's so embarrassing." And my mom's like, "Really?" And I should have said it like 5. No, I love when you sing. I wasn't really listening. I wasn't really paying attention. But like 30 years later, I said to my mom, "How come you don't sing? Like you used to sing." And then she's like, I don't think she even remembered. But I feel like I was part of that story where I didn't say, I should have stood up and said, "No, it's great that you sing." But I don't think I really had an opinion. Cheap views on streambo.com. Why would I want cheap views? Come on now. I don't need cheap views.
We're high.
I like high quality views.
What is that?
Yeah, What do I got here?
I had like a line from a movie pop in and then out of my head immediately. So I went to sing it.
Right.
But
So
then-
Rich and Jess are a little disappointed that our favorite park is getting paved. We wrote a song about it.
Rich, oh my God, Rich
pure
wrote this beautiful song.
Fiction. Don't take us too seriously.
It's a piece of. Why is my hand blue?
Unless you have some extra seeds.
Hi. Oh. It took a day to build the gates where the towers come to rest. An ape with dirty hands set near the park she loves the best. My heart is broke and I'm awoke and I've got time to spare. I'll plant 1,000 poplar seeds to know that they are there. Oh, the wind will lift my mighty seed, the roots will split the stone. Where the people and the pavement ends, trees will stand alone. Greed mistook my grassy nook, while castles fill the sky. But my lovely mighty poplar seeds will climb until they die. Oh, the men in hats and yellow vests, bulldozers and cement. They dug up all the grass and trees without an argument. They left the trees piled up in lots, soon to truck away. The ground is brown where once was green, but life will find a way. Oh, the banners fell, the chants grew still, the pile drivers pound. But somewhere in the deeper soil, there's poplars in the ground. Oh, the ape, she walked into the night. Her work was just begun, and far above the moonlit night waits the coming morning sun. A concrete park sleeps in the dark, and who is there to say? A tiny seed with tiny speed knows life will find a way.
What beautiful words you write, my love. You're so beautiful. I was out and I came in. You're like, come sing this with me. And I can't believe the beautiful words you write. Your
What's
poems,
that song about?
Your songs.
It's about planting seeds
It's
under a
about-
park.
You can't stop nature.
You can't stop progress. Yes, you can. The poplars will.
Yes, you can. You just had a whole rock opera.
They had this crazy poplar tree that was like a branch going through the concrete crack in the back of Rumble House. And both at Gorilla House and Rumble House, Will came by and did some renovations where he just fixed things that needed to be fixed. And he always had an eye out for that resilient poplar tree that squeezed between the cracks and refused to die. And then they paved our favorite park so they can have sleazy parties.
10-day parties.
And maybe under the concrete, there's 1 million poplar seeds. Who really knows?
There's a few lines that I really love, just to know they're there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the idea
Right, because nobody in their right mind would ever actually plant poplar seeds underneath a construction zone.
Oh, wow.
I know it did it itself. It's like, I'm not even trying. Sorry, what were you saying?
The other words.
But just to know that you have some poplar seeds down there.
And then the second part is kind of closer to the end. Oh, the concrete park sleeps in the dark. Oh, that's really powerful.
Just came to me.
You're so beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
You really are magic, though.
Oh, stop it. No, keep going, really.
We got to hold on to all the magic that we can.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this.
Look at it.
I did 2 things.
They're beautiful.
All right, letters.
Remember that time we were talking on the live feed and people tuned in, but we forgot to talk?
Remember that time? I feel like it's really okay. Here's a question.
Yeah.
This made me think of it.
Wait, for everybody or for me?
Everybody, but
Okay.
you, like specifically because you're
Right.
beside
Gotcha.
me.
Yep.
Do you have this experience? And I bet you do more than I do, actually.
What
and
is
I
it
might
like?
just recognize it more so because it's such a huge contrast.
Yeah.
But you have the kids and they might be like super wild. Everyone's like all over the place. And then all of a sudden you get everyone working on something and this hush and meditation just falls over everything. What I find is it's generally like 3 minutes before the bell's going to go for the next class. But I was thinking of that moment we just had where it was calm.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking that kind of reminded me of that, is like these moments where everyone is focused on something so powerful to them and they're in the zone.
I think I often distract them. I'm like, oh, a teachable moment. No, like for me, when it gets too quiet in the room, I try and get them to interact. So for me, it's not, and I think that's just partly the difference way you and I handle a classroom, is I really want my kids interacting. And when it's quiet, that's great, right? I'm not really going to screw that up for them because they might be a room full of introverts that day.
Yeah.
But one thing
you have older kids too.
Yeah.
So.
But one thing I try and do is I try and find the kid that's quiet. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times in my room, this is the funny thing. What in a John Hughes film would be the cool kid, right? That for some reason opted into art and is sort of surrounded by kids that snort, laugh, and wear socks and sandals and stuff, right? Like where those old sort of like ideas of like what was cool and what wasn't cool. Often the kids that kind of end up the isolated in my class are the athletic kids that that would normally seem like the cool kids get kind of like isolated in the art class. So I really do my best to have them included. And I always try and partner kids up. Maybe I'll take like one of the quiet kids and one of the popular kids. And like I said, it's usually the popular kids that are kind of like, like they're in a strange place in my art room. I kind of insist that they speak, like, all right, here's the thing. This is, let's say, Mike. I'm like, Mike here hasn't said anything in 2 weeks. Somebody needs to say hello to Mike. Aww. But the other thing I do is when they have like a really magic moment on the paper, I ask them permission and then I hold the work up and I have everybody look at it. And usually they'll sort of feign like, no, it's too terrible. When the class sees it, everybody goes, that's amazing. And then there's an authentic. So I really promote that interaction. Yeah. And I'll say to people like, is this any good? And they'll all be like, that's good. I'm like, you have to tell. Like, you have to tell when it's good. Then sometimes I tell them, even I need to hear it. Is mine good? And they're like, it's really good, Mr. Taylor. I'm like, don't joke, because we all need to hear this.
That's really beautiful.
Speaking of which, what you're doing now is gorgeous.
Thank you.
Can it go into the screen?
Right now,
no,
but it will.
We've got the camera on the wrong picture.
In a moment.
Yours is better than mine.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
The brown and blue right now, I'm really excited about.
It's nice when the colors just kind of do something nice on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful. I think I'm close to, like, in some circumstances, I think there's really good pockets of beauty happening like that in my classes. I feel like sometimes, I think, and I listen to your stories about your classes, I'm like, gosh, like, what am I doing? But I think it's different because the kids are younger. And so I'm like, and not an excuse, but I'm thinking about like how to build what you have. The kids are different too. I know
we live very differently. Like my kids all know you, right? Yeah. And they're thrilled that you know them. Yeah. So, and actually, so many of your kids used to be my kids used to be at your school, which is weird, right? Like, so that's a strange thing too. Yeah, Larry just called and asked if he can come by, and Larry never needed to ask if he can come by. But
Larry, if you go,
we're not there anymore.
You're gonna get a haircut, Larry.
I'll put a little bit of music here.
Oh, wow.
What is it? What?
Your colors.
Yeah, I bought those. Here we go. One more time.
Hi. Oh. It took a day to build the gates where the towers come to rest. An ape with dirty hands sat near the park she loves the best. My heart is broke and I'm awoke, and I've got time to spare. I'll plant 1,000 poplar seeds to know that they are there. Oh, the wind will lift my mighty seed, the roots will split the stone. Where the people and the pavement ends, trees will stand alone. Greed mistook my grassy nook, while castles fill the sky. But my lovely mighty poplar seeds will climb until they die. Oh, the men in hats and yellow vests, bulldozers and cement, they dug up all the grass and trees without an argument. They left the trees piled up in lots, soon to truck away. The ground is brown where once was green, but life will find a way. Oh, the banners fell, the chants grew still, the pile drivers pound, but somewhere in the deeper soil there's poplars in the ground. Oh, the ape, she walked into the night. Her work was just begun, and far above the moonlit night waits the coming morning sun. A concrete park sleeps in the dark, and who is there to say? A tiny seed with tiny speed knows life will find a way.
I love that so much. I feel like that's a really beautiful thing for all of us to keep in mind these days, is like life does find a way, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you create little by little, and it's...
I'm going to do this as an experiment because I think this might be our worst broadcast. And if we do get bumped off, I'm going to try, we sang a Johnny Cash song, which was also a Sting song. And we'll see if the algorithms bump us off for singing covers. Do you want to try that?
Sure.
Early one morning, with time to kill, I borrowed a jet rifle and sat on the hill. I saw a lone rider crossing the plain. I drew a bead on him to practice my aim. My brother's rifle went off in my hand. A shot rang out across the land. The horse kept on running, the rider was dead. I hung my head. I hung my head. I set off running to wake from the dream. My brother's rifle ran into the stream. I kept on running to the salt lands. That's where they found me, my head in my hands. The sheriff, he asked me, why had you run? And it came to me just what I had done. All for no reason, just one piece of lead. I hung my head, I hung my head. Here in the courthouse, the whole town was there. I see the judge, high up in his chair, explaining to the courtroom what went through your mind. We'll ask the jury, the verdict they'll find. I felt the power of life over death. I orphaned his children, I widowed his wife. I begged their forgiveness, I wished I was dead. I hung my head, I hung my head, I hung my head, I hung my head. Early one morning, with time to kill, I see the gallows up on the hill. Out in the distance, a trick of the brain. I see a lone rider crossing the plain, and he come to fetch me to see what they done. And we'll ride together to kingdom come. I pray for God's mercy, for soon I'll be dead. I hung my head, I hung my head, I hang my head, I hang my head.
my theories is when the sound is so bad, the algorithms won't pick us up boring content. Well, I have a splattery piece of paper. What should it be? What should it become?
Just a bad thing.
So this morning I was listening to a podcast and it was talking about how Kandinsky had gone and listened to Schubert and then went home and painted the Schubert painting, abstract painting he heard. He ended up coming up with a very abstract piece. And it was pretty neat, and I felt really inspired. So you and I both downloaded the Schubert album.
Yeah.
And I talked to my kids what abstraction was. And one of my kids, I said, if you want, you can try, painting what this song sounds like. And I think it was really just one of my kids, maybe one of my shy kids too, tried painting what they were hearing, but almost painted the exact same painting as Kandinsky painted. And so when the other kids saw it, they were all quite blown away, like, wow, that's really amazing. And it was a pretty magic moment, I think, as a classroom to see that happen. It happens not every day, but about once a month. It happens that a kid will come into my class, paint a shape or something I've never seen before. And then
you just bumped my hand. I didn't bump you.
I bumped your hand. I was just letting you know that you're my bubble.
If you messed up my tree, I would have stabbed your eye.
Okay.
Just so you know.
How can I let you know when I'm need more space? How can I do that?
I don't put my shoulder up or whatever. I'll keep talking.
No, I'm feeling like
I'm sorry.
Last week you bumped me like 40 times.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I am really sorry.
You don't have to be sorry. I'm just saying, like, I thought I would just touch your elbow and let you know that it's too close. It's like intense, rattled. I wonder what we look like. That poor girl.
Okay,
there was no cattle prod or anything. I didn't.
No, what? I was just like, I was actually trying to do one detailed thing, and you touched my health, and it's like other.
Oh,
other than that.
No, I think I hear you.
I'm sorry.
I think I hear you saying that that's like jarring when you're trying to paint, and then somebody's like
touching your elbow,
bumping you, and.
Okay, keep talking about your story. I get the message.
Was that the story? I think that was the whole story, beginning, middle, end. As a kid. Oh yeah.
No, you were saying there happens that one kid will do a drawing,
a shape or a color or something. I'm like, wow, I've never seen that before. And then the bell will ring, and a new group of kids come in, and somebody will sit in the same spot and make the same drawing. And it's like, how does this happen? And it does remind me. I know I say this all the time, but it reminds me when I worked at Jambo Java, and it was pretty common. Yes, Josie. Jesse's been making you something, so we need your address for mailing.
Yeah, maybe just message Rich if you'd like. Aw, we love you too, Andrew.
But here's the question, Andrew. Do we seem insane? Like, does that when you're watching from here, you're like, that's what crazy people do?
But what would what's the context? Because look at look at the States and look at us and look at so crazy.
No, even any way you put it, it's like okay,
it's all relative.
Here's a question, right?
What
and I never really even thought of this, right? Here comes, right? Sometimes I feel really stupid for doing this show, but then I wonder, but who's watching it? Like maybe they feel the same way. And it's a little bit like sometimes you're like, I remember it was like nobody wanted to be seen shopping at Walmart at one point. This is a long time ago. I don't want to shame anybody that shopped at Walmart, but it was like a thing where people didn't want to be seen shopping at Walmart. But then you'd realize everybody shopping at Walmart was also at Walmart, right? So,
so if you're seen, then it's like a thing.
Because they're there too.
I think it's just nice when you're creating and you're able to make a space.
Yeah.
For creating.
Maybe the problem is I am a jerk, and I keep worrying that I look like a jerk.
That's not it.
Maybe it's not like I'm worried about the illusion of me looking like a jerk, but maybe just me feeling seen.
You're beautiful. We're all mad here.
Yeah. We all float down here.
Whoa. I was thinking Lewis Carroll.
Leftover cosmic energy from the artist before. Duh.
Like duh.
One thing I find is I went through a phase where my paintings felt so free. Like, oh, I don't have to sell paintings to keep the gallery open anymore. And it was like super liberating and free. And then, this is weird, now I'm kind of going through a phase where it's like, I don't even know what I'm painting anymore. Like I am currently painting without thinking. Right now, I'm 100% painting something without thinking about what I'm painting. And I'm kind of wondering, it sort of looks like, nice. I'm also hearing Josie Power say that our class back home might have been a little weirder than I expected. Just kidding. Thank you, Josie. You mean the world to me. I am doubting myself a lot. I actually get super paranoid in February. February and March are like super paranoid months for me. And I have a theory about that. And this is a super funny story. We got this kid in my class, and he was teasing me because I mentioned I take triple fish oil. He's like, you take triple fish oil? I was like, yeah. He's like, you take triple fish oil? I was like, yeah. And he's like, it's the funniest thing in the world that he heard me say
fish oil.
I take fish oil in the winter. And then he finally says the only time we use fish oil on our dog to make his hair grow faster. And I was like, okay. And then it kind of got like, okay, I want to get on with my life now. And he's still teasing me about the fish oil. I'm like, don't you ever take like vitamins? He's like, all I take is omega-3s. And I was like, I'm going to do a victory lap. And then I'm going to tell you something. And let's just know that it's good to know stuff. So I did a victory lap, kind of dancing around the room, acting silly. And I get to the front. I'm like, do you have any idea what omega oil is? And it turned out it's triple fish oil. So it was like you get lobbed a meatball like that once in your lifetime, you know, like home run, epic level burn. Haha. We both take triple fish oil. But here's why I think I take triple fish oil. And it makes sense to me that my ancestors would have ate salmon out of the river 11 months a year. And 1 month a year, the river be frozen over, and my ancestors would have eaten rabbits, the ones that didn't get away. And so it makes perfect sense to me that when you take the fish oil, it actually coats your nerve endings. So your nerve endings are super raw because you don't have enough fish oil in your life. And you take the triple fish oil and it kind of coats your nerve endings and it soothes your nerves. But if you don't, you're super duper jumpy. And if you ever had like a frozen river and you couldn't get at the fish, I think you'd need to be super jumpy to be able to dive and catch a rabbit. Have you guys watched any other streamer? Haha. What are y'all doing is no weirder than any other random streams.
Thanks, Amanda.
Amanda, I'm going to tell you, we really haven't watched any other streamers, have we?
So that context is nice to hear.
Yeah. Now, that maybe even sounds irresponsible that we're not like researching and doing like the norm. But I actually think it's kind of important that we don't know what other people are doing right now because right now this whole thing that we're doing really is empowered by our naivety. And I'll say this as well. I have a few times shown my videos to drama people, and they always give me advice on how to make it better. I'm like, I don't think you understand that it needs to be bad, right? Like the Space Hero X is like 10 lows below sub quality. And if I get it up to mid quality, it'll be boring. But right now, to my theory, it's so bad that it's funny. But it's cute that they keep giving me advice on how to make it better because I don't want it to be better. You know, we're wearing costume shop NASA suits and flying through space at my kitchen table. Like the joke was is that we do it, not that it's funny. What should this guy be doing?
Is he planting a seed?
Maybe he's just breathing out the chakras. I miss knowing where my paintings are going to go when we had the auction. And we haven't checked our post box because we've been pretty busy. We are doing this week in kind of a half week experience, that the letter Q is going to carry on over from this week into next week. Our content that we wrote this week will be created, other than the
we actually did a lot this week, but also we're going to do more for next week.
Well, and also so much of what we did this week isn't appropriate for the internet.
That's funny.
And that probably sounds a lot more nefarious than it was, but we really have been suffering a lot about our park being paved. And did that sound like, I didn't mean to make that sound saucy.
Like
either.
weirder?
No.
No.
Yeah, okay.
No. We're just living a great life right now.
Because like,
and
let me just tell you, it involves disguises and fake mustaches.
So good.
It's so good, yeah. But it's kind of for the future.
I like that. It is for the future.
Josie, what would you say if we told you we were dressing up with fake mustaches and planting seeds in our favorite park underneath the construction? It's fiction. It's all pure fiction. Yeah, it's like he's praying and vomiting, and like he needs to have a beautiful layer of this on top of this as well.
You know, this is so beautiful. That kind of like where his knee is and his like hand, there's just like a little, I'm just imagining this little sprout coming
flower?
up, like a little, like that was too literal. I know it's too literal because
what if his hand was coming into the ground?
Joseph said, I would say that would be super cool, but you couldn't be cool enough to do that. And I'd testify that in court of law. There's no way he's cool enough to do that. Hey?
Yeah.
Thank you, Josie.
Oh, I didn't even think that story was intelligible. I didn't think anybody would be able to guess what kind of coolness we were talking about. But I will tell you, fake mustaches are pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
How's that now?
That's cool.
It'd be brutal if they had like security cameras up and they're like, we can't tell who those people are.
And then we're just
because
like,
they're wearing fake mustaches. And I'm all like, guess what? We just ordered fake mustaches.
We are just so good at
Felix
that.
looks hilarious in his
He
fake
is
mustache.
so cute. Oh my God. He was just laughing so hard. That was the cutest thing. No, I mean, he wasn't because we didn't do that.
Happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Josie, do you want to join us online, or do you want to send us a picture of what you're working on? Horticultural disobedience, horticultural civil disobedience. I think we're gonna make some T-shirts about that pretty soon. I could do that right now, couldn't I? Are you sure what you're saying is true? No, I make shit up. It's cute. I don't know why this is, but like I said, this morning I got like such amazing stuff in my feed. It was like I had this feed and I was watching thoughtful, amazing things show up. And I was like, what happened to the algorithm that I'm suddenly getting things that are like, it was like Carl Sagan and all kinds of amazing, beautiful, and Kandinsky and art and things. I was like, wow, what's going on? And I felt so blessed. Now, at the same time, something's happened with like my social media stuff where I'm seeing little like posts from people I hadn't seen in such a long time. And what's cute is a lot of them, because I forget we've been doing this for 10 years, are people that were teenagers when we opened up Gorilla House. I'm starting to see their posts pop up as they're starting to start their lives and go on holidays and have families and things. And it's pretty amazing to like every now and then just get shocked into just awesome. Just like I said, it's baby steps. It's just a matter of like taking what you can control and taking a few steps on them. If you want to run, one of the things you can do is instead of deciding to run every day, you decide to put your running stuff on every day.
Yeah.
If you put your running stuff on every day, all you really need to do is meet that requirement. And if you put your running stuff on and you don't feel like running, don't run.
Right.
Right?
Right.
I'm on the picture too. Look better when it was just you. We got some crazy lights there. I want to just peek and see. All right, it is dark out-ish now. So it's 8:21. So it was really a lot of work blocking the sun out earlier. And now it's the sun's pretty good, hey?
The sun is pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Josie, were you with us when we ran the Lost Hero X video? I kind of screwed up the opening. But I do like this idea that other people streaming web stuff are sloppy and messy too. I like that a lot. Because we're like extra sloppy today. And I was kind of thinking like next week I'd give myself permission to be a little bit sloppy because you won't be here and I'll just be starting it off.
Yeah.
I was also a little shocked when he told everybody because I'm like, I don't know if I would show it up if I just knew it was Rich. And
no.
I was kind of trying to think about what kind of tricks with the camera I could do to make it look like you were here when you weren't.
Oh, you could still do that and be like,
the hiccups are part of the fun. Thank you for that.
Oh, Josie just caught the end of the puppet bit.
Oh, Josie, I tell you what. I think later on this evening, I'm going to replay my Space Hero X because I did such a bad job of it earlier. Did we watch it twice?
Nice.
Or
We only watched it once.
I do wonder if
Felix... that is nice. That
what one?
Motorcycle.
Well, what I find, okay. What I find is I'm really lacking direction with my art right now, which is perfect timing because I had to sell. How many did we say we sold?
Like thousands.
Yeah, thousands of my paintings to keep the gallery open, and then then we shut the gallery down. And I started drawing blanks. Like I don't even know who I am anymore.
Oh, I like my writing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Can I have that gum?
Chewing. I'm so sorry. I get hiccups when I drink too much
all
water.
I need to know is it's not being picked up by the mic. Jess?
No, it's okay. I just needed to. I keep getting hiccups.
It's because you have that singer's voice and you're singing training, and somehow your bones were all hollowed out. That when you sing and I touch your shoulder, I can feel the vibrations of your voice coming through your shoulder. It's one of the most beautiful things.
Oh.
But when you chew, shaking the camera. Sorry, what were you saying?
I don't know.
What were you saying?
I can't remember. It's okay.
I'm backstage from the pickup. I don't see you. I meant I'm back. I still don't see you. Maybe I need to scroll.
Yeah, she's there.
Mm-hmm. 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 That Johnny Cash album's killing me right now, hey?
Oh yeah, American Recordings.
Which is funny because I feel like okay, it's funny because I'm kind of back and forth where I was pretty pleased with Chrétien kind of smack talking Trump today. That made me happy. I also sort of feel like this. It used to be almost like a courtesy for my friends that may or may not be conservatives that if I felt like bad mouthing Trump, I would run the risk of offending my friends that weren't that were liberals. Right? I remember I commented on Trump back in the Rumble House days, and this guy I barely knew contacted me to say, "I don't think that's fair because I am to the right, and now I don't feel comfortable coming to figure drawing anymore." And I was like, "Well, first of all, we put on figure drawing as a service, and it costs us money. So if you don't want to come, please don't come." But it didn't occur to me back then that it was weird that a Canadian was telling me I couldn't talk about my politics because it made him uncomfortable and make him feel unwelcome that I didn't like Donald Trump. And I thought that was really strange. But it's only now that I'm sort of realizing that it used to be kind of understood that Canadians on the right and left might have taken sides, some on Trump's side. I mean, up until like just recently with the tariff talk, it was pretty common to hear a lot of people sort of openly bashing Biden as though he's the worst thing ever. And then Trump comes along with these tariffs, and I'm like, where are all these conservative friends I had that were like pretty adamant that Biden was the devil and Trump was going to be the savior? And it's like, they're just gone quiet. Like I don't hear from them anymore. But I also think it's kind of okay now to be a little bit critical of this man that's so disrespectful to people of color, people of gender, people of
anything
unless him. You're him. Yeah, really. Like even people that he agrees with are like fair targets, right? And it's kind of like universally kind of okay to have an opinion on Donald Trump now, where I used to try and feel like, oh, maybe I should keep that to myself. But I also really resent this idea that because I was running an art gallery, I didn't have a voice. Because artists are always noisy and dangerous, and we say things and we mean things, also, and we speak with our hearts, and we're very, likely to. First of all, we're the first ones in the lineup: the scientists and the teachers and the academics and the artists and the poets. We're the ones that get lined up first up against the fence. So you want your free day to lip off before you start getting marched up to the fence, and.
Yeah, you're right. Running that space was an interesting thing because you're an artist and you have that voice, but then you wanted I think because the people who understood our what we were doing with inclusion was they were, I don't want to speak for people, but I think the people who understood our mission and you and your values never would it
was obvious
never would
question
you. Yeah. But that it was always the people that were challenging that view were the ones that would say something like that.
Right.
Like, oh, I thought you said this was inclusive. It's like you're kind of pushing the boundaries on what's acceptable right now. You know what I mean?
I think my answer to that was it's inclusive until it isn't.
Until it isn't.
And if it's gotten to the point where Rich Taylor's given up on you, you got a problem. And almost universally, no matter what kind of bad character I was working with, when I would say that, almost universally people would go, yeah, you got a point. You may not be my favorite person, Rich, but you do have a tendency to make room for everybody. And that would even happen in arguments where I was almost in fisticuffs, by the time Rich Taylor gives up on you, you've gone too far.
Check your messages there, Mela.
Here's a photo from Amanda Ferguson. Tell me if that's coming on.
Oh my gosh. Is that in your sketchbook? What material is that, Amanda?
Loving it.
I love that. Good vibes.
Gotta keep those loving good vibrations are happening, baby. Am I on screen?
No. Sorry, I'm doing some fast.
Are you know?
Fast checking.
Is it fast?
Fact checking.
Fact checking? What are you checking?
How to spell Hypatia.
Oh, right. Forgot about her. That's what I should have painted this week.
Well, you can still do her. Look, she's a mathematician. Look at that.
Shell and tie. Wow, sorry. That was way more aggressive than I meant. We laugh a lot between us here.
Sketchbook with marker going with pencil crayon. That's awesome.
Nice.
Okay. We laugh a lot. Oh my gosh. Talking about laughing, I went to my grandma's.
Laughing. Carry on.
Went to my grandma's home today, and just the cutest, sweetest elderly lady is just laughing. We were saying goodbye to grandma on our way out, and they were saying happy birthday, and grandma said, what, whose birthday is it? And then it was just this nonstop, like, she could have been putting us all on because she was just so convincingly saying that she kept forgetting whose birthday it was. It was the cutest thing. And then they're all just like the
the sweetest thing.
There's just
let's see if I can do this.
It's really beautiful.
This is a brand new attempt for me. Bam!
Oh, that's nice.
That's fast, eh?
That was good.
Yeah, I did a lot of stuff really fast.
But laughing is so it's so pivotal to life. I think so. That's why you will make me live forever.
I thought it was Woody Woodpecker.
No.
Is that Guess Who song?
I actually find Woody Woodpecker painful. I find it painful to try and do that voice. It's too much, too fast. All right, now, do I know how to get rid of this? Remove. Bam. Do you like Woody Woodpecker? He was quite a character, wasn't he?
Quite annoying.
Yeah.
Did she say annoying?
A bit annoying.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like Bugs Bunny much more.
We all love Bugs Bunny.
Yeah. And Roadrunner.
Actually,
I can't stand Roadrunner. I feel so bad for Wile E. Coyote all the time.
Yeah, me too, actually.
kind of
He always gets it with the Advil or whatever, the Anvil, all the time.
All the Acme things. What a bad company.
And it's
also.
funny because for all this talk about like what if we were to be putting poplar seeds underneath the fence of the industrial ruining our park, and you know these thoughts we had about like what if we ordered a blow dart gun, and what if we flew the seeds up on a kite and shook them out of the kite, and it turns out that spitballing the seeds into the park could work too. That's what happens. I don't know how to get you to stop shaking that table, baby.
There's an idea for the next Star X or the space one. Do a cartoon like the Coyote or like a Bugs Bunny version.
You know what's funny, Kelly? Because
look at his hair. You are a wild beast. I love it, Felix.
Felix, can you? Oh, there you go.
Sorry, Kelly. I didn't want to cut you off.
Felix, turn your camera. You have to be patient and turn it sideways and just give it a second. There we go. That's the stuff of kings. How are you, my son?
Good.
You look skinny. Did you eat dinner?
Mm-hmm.
What did you eat?
Pizza.
Pizza. Are you lying down?
Yeah.
Boy, I wrote some funny content for next week's videos.
Okay.
Are you going to do some artwork with us?
Probably not. I was just going in to say hello.
That's very nice.
While you're here, do you want to watch the SpaceX with us? I kind of messed it up at the beginning.
Oh, that's nice.
Right now? Okay, hold on. Video file. Desktop.
I feel like I was
Did he
dropped.
knock himself out? All right. So I played this wrong 3 times at the beginning, but here we go. Ready? Here's the new Isle of Roux, number 11. Ready, bud?
Okay. No copyright on the book.
Oh, hey, were you outside?
Yeah, I was, Garvin told me about, blue meanies.
Oh, what's a blue meanie?
You're the science officer. Why don't you look it up?
Okay, give me 1 minute. Oh. Rich, they like take over your body and your mind and everything.
Yeah, like zombies or something.
And then you like go on to eat everything around you.
Eat your family, yeah.
That's terrifying.
Yeah,
Did
well,
you
that's
see
why
any?
no. That's why I was checking the ship.
Oh, that is really unnerving. What would you do if I got bit by a blue meanie?
I would zap you immediately. So that because if it took over your brain, it wouldn't be you anymore.
I guess so. That's really scary. Wait, would you expect me to do that to you if you got bitten by a blue meanie?
No. Of course I would. Oh. Whoa.
Oh.
I had the worst dream.
Hi, Dad.
Yeah, bud.
What would you do if I got bit by a blue meanie?
I then went on to laugh a whole bunch. Okay, bye.
Nice seeing you.
Goodbye, buddy. We're going.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm just like right here.
You're allowed to go.
I'm just looking for stuff because
I kind of figure like the first half of the show should be the best half. And then as time moves on, like as we get closer to 9 o'clock, we can get weirder and lazy. Thank you, Josie. It was actually Kelly's idea. We just put puppets into the Space Hero X, and Kelly's like, yeah, you should do some animation. And I was like, ugh. Oh, I know. Yeah, actually. So I sort of feel like with the Isle of Roux, we're going through a lot of stuff. We haven't done the episode based on the Seven Samurai yet, where Bugs Life, Magnificent Seven, every single TV show you've ever seen does the episode where the 7 soldiers train the farms people to fight the bad guys that are stealing their crops. But I'm trying to figure out how we can get enough people on set to do the 7 Samurai episode. There's certain episodes that kind of rotate through every show. Like all the sitcoms would have an episode where the bright kid would do well on the SATs, but then the kid that was supposed to be the character that was the less bright kid would outperform them. That theme, that trope was in every single, you name any show, and I'll tell you, like Mallory was supposed to be the goofball, and Alex was supposed to be the bright guy, and for some reason, Mallory outperformed Alex on the what show did I say I was talking about? Family Ties? No. Maybe it wasn't Family Ties. I forget what show that was. What show was not Growing Pains? And every single show, there's always a bright kid and then a goofball kid. The goofball kid would always outperform the bright kid on the SATs. Lesson to be learned there. Laughing. I'm kind of waiting for this to dry. I think I might make myself a quick coffee. Do you want to take my spot and be in front of both cameras?
Sure.
What are you doing there?
I'm
Cutting
trying
things
to
up.
get...
Put it here, though.
Okay.
Put it here and then put her there, pal. Pal of mine. There's your hands. Now I'm gonna go make a coffee. Do you want a coffee?
No, thank you. I have water here.
Oh, the beads.
So, oh,
What happened?
it's just cute. I'm looking at this painting we're sending. I'm making your package up, Josie, to send out to you. Am I on the, look, I did this one.
How about turn the machine off?
Okay.
Rancilio. We went to our wealthy friend's house and they had the same coffee machine as us. And we said, hey, we have the same coffee machine as you. And they're like, haha, no, you don't. And they're like, you might have a coffee machine like ours, but you don't have a Rancilio. But what they didn't know is I spent my
we spent our allowance on
net gains on my net, what's it called? Your net salary, net worth on an espresso. We have such weird purchases here. We have a record cleaner. That's a vacuum and a wet vacuum that cleans records, worth more than most people's TVs. We have a handful of turntables, which you don't need more than one, but we have 5. My speakers are all my speakers are like not recycled, but donated. We spend a little bit of money on our carpets. We do spend a lot of money on books and records and art supplies. And then we don't have those things like TVs or backyards that other people spend money on.
Right.
Single vehicle family. But we have a really nice coffee machine and some pretty decent carpets.
And clean records.
And like our own carpet guy.
Oh, yeah.
That brings us like carpets from the darkest Peru.
That is so exciting. I know I like the idea of us getting mail to get your return address, but then I got too excited. Something came up today and that is awesome. Yeah. Send your address to Teru and then we'll send you and then you can send us stuff too. I just get too excited.
This tape is weird. It's kind of like it's going to leave sticky marks on the rubber. But I've never painted with it before, so I want to do that. What do you think about me making the table sticky?
I appreciate you in all your forms. Oh, should we use it? Will it be a good on the outside of this package to Josie?
What? The tape?
For her address. Yeah, like look, like this.
Absolutely.
Because I think that would add a pretty pizzazz to it.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll use it in a little.
I don't know how weatherproof it is, but...
Oh, we can use maybe thicker stuff. You're right. Maybe.
Well, when I said but, it's because I was going to say, you've got a great
Amanda,
idea.
do you have ever all 5 turntables on at once? Rich always threatens it.
That's say the wrong word. Threatens. It sounds so aggressive.
Not threatens, but like
I would
like
love to listen to more than one record
all
at a time.
all the music all at once would be.
There's only one reason why I don't do that, and also like I also like to listen to audiobooks when my hands are busy. But I also want to listen to records, so we buy a bunch of new records, and I want to listen to a book, and I want to draw, and I want to read, and sometimes I like to have the TV on in the background. So that would be. I know they make medication for this, but that'd be the way I work. Jesse's a little more like if I put music on in the car. I told her I wanted to surprise her. I meant don't look at the screen because I put a song on. She always looks to see what song is coming on. I said don't look, and she closed her eyes while she's driving. Or like I have to be careful about like listen to audiobooks, and then I look over and she's closing her eyes and tipping her head back and imagining the grass and the trees and the story. So for me, I like multiple distractions. But let me tell you why I don't put on 5 records at one time. Because I would love that. I would love how that sounds. But like I feel like you only have so much time with each record. Mm-hmm. What does that say? Is it important?
No, here. It was the old message.
Okay, yeah. I feel like you listen to a record so many times and then you can't hear it anymore. So even though we have like thousands of records, I do dread the point where I played all my records and I can't hear them anymore. So it's like I'm trying to get like as much joy out of each record rather than having 5 going at once. But I especially would love to have on like a jazz album and an audiobook. That if I could control my own background music to the audiobooks would be an extra layer. We have 5 turntables because we needed backups for at home and in the gallery. And, when we stopped listening to like digital records and stuff on our phones, it was as important to have records available in our bedroom as the living room. And then out of like courtesy, I figured Felix deserved a record player in his room. And then we also had record player. And so as we get, and then we had 4, we didn't need 5, but we bought this one Nina Simone record that was special and it needed a special turntable to play it. And so we ended up buying a whole record turntable so we could hear that Nina Simone album. And it's a great album. I don't regret it. But I also went through a phase where my record player had the last needle in North America. So I don't ever want to be there again. I don't ever want to be like listening to records thinking this might be the last time I hear stressful. Them.
Yeah.
So what I call it is record abundance. On top of that, I have at least 8 extra needles in our storage ready for the apocalypse. And during the apocalypse, I will be going out on midnight runs looking for cans of food and energy sources to power our turntables. I had a weird moment today. Do you know how sometimes the kids don't take you seriously or act like you're not cool or because you're old, all that stuff?
Mm-hmm.
My kids were kind of like being a little rowdy and not taking me seriously. And they know I'm not going to yell at them. So they really behave well for the teachers that yell at them. They know I'm not going to yell at them. So when they feel like they need to cut loose a bit, they're going to cut loose in my room because it's a safe place. But I said to them straight up, I said, you know what? You guys are getting on my nerves. If you don't settle down, you can't be on my zombie apocalypse team. And right now, you don't really take me seriously because I'm your teacher. But I tell you, when the zombie apocalypse comes, you're going to be like, old man Taylor's got some good survival ideas. You're going to want to be on my zombie apocalypse team. And like 3 of the wildest boys like, he's got a good point. They're like, that's true. Right?
That's true.
I might not be important to you now, but when the zombie apocalypse comes, you're going to wish you're on Tayru's team. Now, ironically, my plan for the zombie apocalypse is to be pretty cutthroat. And the reason I try and be nicer than I am, the reason I try and come off nice right now is in the apocalypse, at the end of days, I want people to say things like, I knew Rich before the shit went down. He was a decent man once. And then in the apocalypse, I'm going to just cut loose.
A decent man.
Yeah. I'm going to be pretty cutthroat in the end of days, which actually kind of fits that Johnny Cash album we're just listening to.
Oh,
it's okay. Earth tones. I just stuck my paintbrush in the coffee.
Did you say it was okay because it was earth tone?
Yeah.
Like fluorescent green, not okay to drink. Earth tones.
Okay, so
I'm
we're
not
talking
laughing
about
at you, I think
talking
that's
about in my science class, we're talking about acids and bases, and testing the pH out. And what I ended up doing was taking it the next level. So while we're testing out the bases, Josie, I give you a suitcase turntable. I have a problem with buying, because I think I gave Faya 2 turntables as well. So I see these turntables and my brain just goes, I might need that later on in the apocalypse. And then, so when I say we have 5 turntables, we've probably given away 4 of those Crosleys as well, because they're so darn cute, you know? Did you have the black one that will Bluetooth to your phone? And then what happens is when I get those Crosleys, then the audio file in me wants like a higher quality. And so I keep going back and forth and buying for like what, like $100 for a turntable? I'd be crazy to turn that down. Like, I don't have room for another turntable. Maybe one of my students likes records. So, what was it? I'm all over the place. Okay. So in my class for science, I had the kids eat hot peppers. And then we tested the pH of the peppers, and you would think that the milk was alkaline and would counteract the acid of the peppers. Turns out it wasn't the acid in the peppers that made it so hot. But while we're having these conversations, somebody had asked about how Coke burns the rust off of nails. And so I wanted to try that out. So we also included within this bizarre plan to eat hot peppers and test the pH. We also left train spikes in Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and Dr. Pepper. The Dr. Pepper had very little effect on the rust on the train nails. And strangely enough, the Pepsi had a much grander effect than the Coca-Cola, which is weird because I'd actually never heard anybody criticize Pepsi taking the rust off of nails. When we talk about chemicals, we have to remember that we're made out of chemicals. And just because something takes the rust off of nails doesn't mean it's bad for you. Yeah. What I would suggest, Josie, is an Audio Technica, and then you'll need a couple of speakers to go with it, because they're not set up to just be a single system. But I would recommend Edifier speakers. I actually have an extra pair, strangely enough, if you need a pair, and then Audio Technica turntable. And I would say, well, it depends. Like, it's tough when you're a student and you're moving around. I did keep my records while I was moving around, but I also forfeited almost everything else I owned in sake of my records. Long-term goals: find a place to live, buy yourself some records, go crazy. Short-term goals: you want to finish university and maybe find an easier way to carry your music than a.
Look, it's the full moon.
Yeah.
Look, do you like my little trees?
I love them.
Woo. And there's a little guy back there.
I'm always really amazed also with how much I love the radio. But because we have such a nice record collection, I don't hear a lot of radio. I do find when I listen to music on my phone, I become deaf to it really quickly. In fact, we just bought that last Johnny Cash album that we didn't have. And I think one of the reasons we didn't have it is because I got impulsive and I bought it on my phone. So I didn't feel like we needed it on vinyl. At least I didn't feel like we needed it on vinyl. Mm-hmm. And then it was funny because I have it on my phone and I play it all the time, but I don't hear it. And then when we got the record at home, came in the mail, put it on the record player and listened to it. And is it a double album?
Yeah.
It's strange because I'm hearing songs for the first time and I'm kind of blown away by them.
Right.
And I just feel like I listen and hear music differently depending on where the source is. And for me, there's just something really deep and absorbing about vinyl. Whereas when I find if I hear phone, it works on the radio too. When you hear a song you really love on the radio.
Radio too, you're right.
Yeah.
Because it's that one thing.
Yeah, those Crosleys do wear out. And even more importantly, when you're really nuts about your records, the more affordable record needles are not always the best for your records. So if you love both your records and your turntable, you need to try and invest in something like an Audio Technica. And there's a ton of record players you can get, but I find so many of those record players use Audio Technica needles that it makes sense to me to just stick with an Audio Technica turntable.
Right.
They're not unreasonably priced. Like I remember when I was in high school, my older cousins and uncles would be buying record turntables that cost as much as maybe their first car. And now you can get an entire system for very little money. And it's crazy the quality of a record turntable and speakers you can get. And also a lot of people are giving their old stuff away. Like our big speakers we got from Nick, who'd had records his whole life and then bought one of those, like, what are they called? Like you speak to them and they play music in anywhere in your house. And
the
just
house thing,
yeah. And I bet you it wasn't long before he missed his records. And I also think we kind of get into these like zones where it's like, if somebody's one of our friends was just recording all their vinyl onto this sound system that they built into their house so that they could dump all their records. Do we have an extra Crosley?
I don't think at the moment.
Josie, are you coming home for summer? Because what I could do is loan you a pair of Edifier speakers. I actually have an extra pair you could have. And then if you just get yourself a turntable, the money you save on speakers, my recommendation would be get a Audio Technica. I quite like our House of Marley as well. But it's got Audio Technica needle.
Right.
So again, it comes back to like, what's the point? What's the point of that?
Right. That's interesting.
And also, we're in a unique situation where my wife and I support each other in buying records, and that's important. Because divorces happen over that. Yeah. And when I met Jess, she had around 300 records because she worked in a record shop. And I think I had about 300 records as well. And then if you put a zero on that, that's what we've accumulated over the years. Because basically we quit drinking, and other than I spend money on photography, on film and records, but that's where I get all my healthy dopamine from.
Yeah.
Oh, done. Your dad gives you the House of Marley, and I'll give you a speaker. We're set.
So nice.
Their edifiers are Canadian, and they're just right for an apartment. You can crank them up just loud enough to make your neighbors angry, but they don't really go louder than that. And then, like, we really don't need the horsepower we have in this house, but Nick Newton gave me his speakers.
Is that his real name?
Nick Newton, for real. He didn't even change it.
Like
I think he's changed it. I think he's changed it to something less cool than Nick Newton. He might have a fake name now, but his real name was Nick Newton, and he was the cool guy when I was in art school. A couple of years older than me, and he gave us these big speakers. And about a year before we shut down Rumble House, I decided to announce we're shutting Rumble House. And one of the first things I did after we announced that I was shutting Rumble House down was we moved our records home, and then I started moving the speakers home. And then at the same time, my ex-father-in-law, gave me his old speakers. So we have 2 half surround sound rooms, right?
Yeah.
There are 4 speakers in the bedroom and 3 speakers in the living room, but they're like whompers. They're like whomp, 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 whomp. And
we're very grateful that we live in a concrete building.
Yeah. And so are our neighbors. But and then it turned out Felix doesn't really love records the way we thought he would, which is fine. And when you're young and you can't buy your own records, it's not the same thrill, right? Yeah. Like, we're stupid and we spend all our money on records, so it's a thrill.
It's not stupid.
Well, having a record player and 3 albums can be really stressful, right?
Right.
Having a credit card and an addiction to vinyl is less stressful than, like, when I was young, getting my hands on a record was really hard, right?
Right.
But now I can just go to the store and have one.
Oh, okay. Put this away so it doesn't.
Are we getting close to the end?
It's 9 o'clock.
Oh.
I'm just. I don't know. I get around 9. It's so funny. It's like clockwork. Around 9, I start getting tired.
Yeah. And then you just start like brushing your teeth and stuff, and I'm in the middle of broadcast.
I'm not brushing my teeth. I'm tidying. I have 2 pieces of mail ready to go out. I was just gonna put this paint water away.
Oh.
That's all. So I don't dump it on the electronics.
Right. That would be amazing. I think I also have a Johnny Cash record I've been missing. Oh yeah, like actually, and lately the new Johnny Cash records, like the most recent of his, when he kind of was older, and kind of like his voice was struggling a little bit. That is another thing Jess and I have in common, is we both really love live albums, and we both really love like last albums, like when an artist is like had this amazing career and they kind of know the end is coming, and then they sort of sit down and they put down that last album before they move on, and like the voices aren't the same, like they're going to. I love that struggle when you can tell that the sound of the voices is like the heart's there, but the body's starting to give out. So it is strange how like the sound quality of like, you know, when I was young, I really liked the studio albums. I even like pop music sometimes, but what I've grown to love is that more authentic, where you can hear the voice crack, and where, you know, a song that they used to belt out when they're young, they're struggling to get out. Joni Mitchell and Johnny Cash and David Bowie, and I think there's some old Donovan as well. And we got recently we got a Charles Lloyd. Like I really love seasoned musicians and hearing how they age. Frank Sinatra as well, right? Like to me, those when you're fighting to get the sound to come out is when it sounds the best, which I'll end up paying for, right? At some point, I'll have shaky, wobbly hands, and it'll be so difficult for me to make paintings. And I'll make my favorite paintings while my hands are giving out.
That's not something to pay for. That's like life. Like you get older.
I do think we're a little lucky, like in terms of being painters and poets, versus like, let's say, dancers or boxers or a lot of other things. You and I kind of have that lucky. We're lucky that like our sport ages well, right? Like I think artists can go on, and then you get like was it Matisse that was cutting things out with paper?
Yeah.
I do worry about going blind sometimes. I think if I did go blind, I would switch over to drumming. I think that would be my end game. Drum my final days away. What do you got there?
I was thinking of
a
photo poem.
Throw in some photo poems.
Yeah.
When I switched over from instant photos to 35 millimeter photos, I ended up having a different way of collecting my photos. Basically, my instant photos all come out, and I like to record my mistakes. So if I had a bad instant photo come out, it would immediately go into my book that I was keeping these books. Now I have a different book, and sometimes like the page numbers matter more than having all the photos. Space. Maintaining the space is more important than. I'm cherishing space in my photo books, where I used to like try and fill space. And so my photos that I didn't need to keep became photo poems. And I see Jesse is loading some photo poems into an envelope.
Envelope.
Yeah, Johnny Cash and Bob Dylan. And for a while, over COVID, the only thing I could listen to was Johnny Cash and Bob Dylan. And near the end, I sort of got back into listening to things like Daniel Johnson. I can often listen to the Pixies, but only sometimes in small bunches. But Miles Davis, Johnny Cash, Frank Sinatra, Nina Simone. A lot of those albums I can listen to 20 times in a row.
Yeah.
And then the stuff I used to like, especially things that were like just good pop music or whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes I put them on and I just can't hear them. You know, I hear the first few minutes and then it's already sort of gone back into like background noise. And so I really have to surround myself with the kind of music. And it's strange because jazz often is that same collection of the same songs that are being played over and over in different ways. And so the repetitiveness and that goes back to those cutouts and the space between the notes.
Yeah.
Having the limited body of songs that are jazz and the sort of jazz rules and those sorts, and then when those rules get broken and when they sometimes grab a random song that shouldn't be a jazz song, like, can't really say that, but you get like the bad plus playing like Nirvana or something.
Right.
The genre of jazz is really what saved me, I think, my brain from this thing where I remember sort of my dad didn't listen to music when I was a kid. My mom had these groovy albums, but she never put them on. When I was really little and I used to drive to work with my mom, we went from Candy Meadows to Marlborough every day. And I'd hear this. That's what I was telling you about.
Nice.
Was it Diana Ross?
Yeah.
I heard every day for years. My mom loved music, and I think a lot of my music taste came from my mom. But then she just stopped listening to music, and I'd say, hey, like, I kind of on the one hand inherited her records and her record player, so I didn't push too hard. But I was often trying to get her to talk about, like, what do you listen to now? And I don't know what happened where, like, her ears shut off and she didn't need to hear music anymore. I always felt like that was the end. Like, you know, there's certain things that shut down, like your desire for music, or, you know, when you can't do a backflip. I can't do a backflip anymore. But those kinds of things, there's certain things that go away and certain things that you need to maintain your passion for. And
Totally.
My passion for music, I think, might have been lost in that way if it wasn't for jazz. And I also find that having to read about jazz to really interpret it and understand it was fantastic because I keep learning more about it and I keep getting better at listening to it and knowing more about what I'm hearing. And
right.
And it is strange and suspicious how similar our tastes are, you and I, right? Like, that's why I often wonder if you're a fembot or an alien or some kind of spy.
Right.
And your cover is I'm your wife. I know, right? It's not a matter so much of passion for backflips as your center of gravity shifts. Now, that's also a lie because I used to be really athletic, but I could never do a backflip. And I could jump high enough and I was agile, but something about my core center of gravity, even though I could do front handsprings or all kinds of things, I couldn't get my body to do a backflip. And people I knew that weren't as athletic or not as nimble were able to do backflips, and it kind of blew my mind. I think it has to do with where your weight is, and I had too much core weight in my thighs were strong enough to do a backflip, but there was just too much of my mass was in my bike riding legs. Josie, can you do backflips? You know what this is?
Is this right now?
This is the first painting I've made that I'm really proud of in a couple weeks. I don't mind the other ones, but like, and I don't know which one you think is better, but to me, I've kind of been like, that didn't really do it. And then it was like, that's okay. And, you know, like could make that in the AI, but this one I really like. This one I could feel singing when I painted it.
I love that.
I guess I have a few. Like actually the early Isle of Roux paintings, some of them I really like. That one of Felix I really like. And then it sort of feels like I'm doing these kind of dumpy things that don't really matter to me. And then also because we're not selling them to keep the gallery open, they have a different intensity, right? And I feel like right now I'm kind of painting the space between the note. I'm like living in the space between the note. And so the paintings aren't as significant, but this one I quite like.
Do you want me to pick at stuff?
No, talk to the people.
Oh.
Look how, that's funny. It actually kind of like.
That's really funny.
It's
Layers.
It's weird because I said no and you still picked at it. Here we go. And it's not leaving the sticky as I had imagined. You know, I wasn't like bordering this with the tape. It's often a great joy to pull the paint off and see that border emerge. But I was using this tape.
It might be down here.
Well, I was using the tape to flatten it. So I'd already painted in where the border would be. There might be a small indication here, but it's not what I was in it for.
In it.
Like, I am not above admitting that sometimes when I'm at the end of the painting, I'll put colors on my palette because I know I'm going to peel that palette later. You know what I mean? Like I'll actually paint the palette before it dries because I want to see. Oh, yeah? Who said that? Oh, Josie, I'll mail you the hands going under the concrete one. You can have this one. Yeah, it's a gift. Isn't that nice? I don't sell paintings anymore. I just put them in the mail. I might fold it, though. I might trim it. Yeah.
We'll see.
Josie, do you ever think about how lucky you are to have such a cool sounding name? Power. Power. My oldest son's last name is Sparks. It's a pretty bold name. Sparks. Teru, I didn't really love until I started playing Words Off it. So the Lost Hero X plays is also spelled out of Teru. One day I noticed the word hero could be found in Teru. Yeah. Lost Hero X is made out of my, it's almost not an anagram, but it's just, I just broke the word in half. And also the Isle of Roux, also Teru, T-H-E-R-O-U-X, the Isle of Roux. I just realized yesterday Jess's initials spell Jet. That's pretty cool because that's what I named my dog before I met you.
That's so cute.
A little brunette wild cracker of a puppy. What do we got? We got 9:12. We usually go for 15 more minutes. We went a little late last week. This is a loose attempt at the Zen and the art of motorcycle maintenance.
Because we were talking about quality.
Yeah, and that's actually when I first started really digging into quality. Was the whole book was really a question of how do we even talk about quality existing. In my art class, I always start out by telling the kids they need to do what they want to do. They need to forget about my needs and they need to paint what they want to paint. And it's really tough sometimes to get the kids to open up and decide to paint for themselves. At the same time, I do that for a semester, and the next year I start trying to get them to listen about what's important to paint. And they're like, art can be anything. I can paint whatever I want. It's like, yeah, I taught you that, but also every now and then you got to try new things. So stage one, ignore me and paint what you want. Stage two, I got about 100 outcomes I need to get you to. We need to get through these together. So it's tough, right? Because people will tell you in the same breath that they don't know anything about art, that the art can be anything, and it's kind of like, it's really easy to be dismissive and decide that you don't want to learn new things.
That's what I was going to say. To listen is still good for you. Yeah.
But one thing I find is where I used to have the kids write reflections and talk about what did they learn this year. Now I'm having them write more common reflections, more daily reflections. And I ask them to write, what is something you're doing today what is something you learned today that you didn't know from before? And you have to constantly keep adding to that. What risks are you taking in your work now that you weren't taking before? And if you can't talk about something you did today that was new, then you're just repeating the same stuff. And there's nothing wrong with going, I have this one young man and he's been painting trains for 4 years straight. And a lot of them are the same trains, but the intensity in which he has revisited that theme of painting trains reminds me of that movie Smoke, where Harvey Keitel would go out and take a picture on the front street outside of his store every single day from the exact same spot at the exact same time. And they just had this stream of the exact same street photos. You need to have a job where you can do that every day and not take a holiday. You also need to have an interesting front street. But it seemed to me that was the kind of art project I would have liked to give my life to, that do the same thing every day and see how it goes. You could write me a reflection right now. That would be a great letter, Josie. You could write a reflection about what you're doing in art right now and mail it to the Isle of Roux. Isle of Roux. What should I paint?
When we were talking about Hypatia, it's hard because there's not too much record of her. She was kind of wiped.
Hypatia?
Yeah.
Tell me that story.
She was a...
it was in that Carl Sagan video this morning.
She was a mathematician, and she was a astronomer, and she created a tool that the sailors used to cross the sea based on the stars.
Mm-hmm.
Astronomer, philosopher, mathematician. And so she was around in Alexandria just as kind of Greek culture was falling and Catholicism was taking hold. And
now, actually, don't take this the wrong way.
Yeah.
Because it probably contributes to what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But I sent you that video this morning.
Yeah.
And because I knew you'd love it.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of remember it being Romans.
What part?
That she was a Roman, and she was during the Roman times.
Oh, it was the end of...
it was the end of the Greeks.
Yeah.
And the Roman Christians.
Constantinople was coming.
Gotcha. Yeah, my bad.
No, it's okay. See, I like that you asked me questions.
It's better when you ask questions.
Never have to feel bad about asking questions.
That's when you don't ask questions.
Exactly. That's when
people go home with hurt feelings.
Or like misinformed, and we're
right.
Like, I don't want that. So she was like a really incredible, intelligent person that was able to like kind of move freely in society and culture where other women weren't.
Why?
And she was, well, it was said that she was like beautiful, but also very well spoken and very outspoken.
Mm-hmm. So she was powerful because she was intelligent.
Yeah.
She got away with being intelligent because she was beautiful.
It sounds kind of like and there's not a lot to go.
Does that
by.
Sound like a criticism?
No, there's
not.
A criticism. No, not at all. I'm just, because I wasn't there and I'm just learning about her, I'm hesitant in like saying facts that I'm repeating. But Carl Sagan was one of the sources, so I'm not going to really doubt Carl Sagan.
Yeah, but I do think that it's funny that like being intelligent is like Hedy Lamarr,
right,
is important, and sometimes I think being intelligent and beautiful can heed the people listening, and sometimes it impedes people listening.
Right.
Sometimes it just keeps you from getting chucked into the how many times have we heard these stories about, they were just about to chuck the witch into the fire and somebody thought she was beautiful and they rescued her because they couldn't live without her.
Then on the opposite side, because she was able to do these things and she was an incredible teacher and inventor and all of these things, but then the attention was turned on her, and then she was a threat.
And the crowd set upon her.
And they actually flayed her with abalone shells. It's uncomfortable,
right? Yeah.
And I just don't know why then the person who did that was sainted. Like, I have so many problems.
Well, no, because the stories don't get told properly.
They don't get told together either. Everything is separated.
And the stories get told by the victors.
Right.
And because things get lost in translation.
That too.
And
out of context.
You and I have known that they burn the artists, they burn the witches, they burn the scientists. They have been since as long as they've had cord. And so long as they've been able to tie somebody down, they burn the people that scare them with new ideas.
Galileo.
And it's funny because the metaphor you and I had as friends when we met is that the villagers with the pitchforks would be coming. Yeah. And that was a narrative that we sort of equally held true to each of our own experiences.
Yeah.
And, now we're living it. And we've been through our, those raids where the villagers are coming with their pitchforks and their what do you call it, torches and pitchforks. We've lived through those in real life, and I always feel like, like, I don't believe in bad luck, I believe in fate. And so anytime something bad happens, it's just part of my training for when I really need to knuckle down and save my people. Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm constantly measuring what's my people, like sometimes it's a bigger circle, and sometimes it's a smaller circle. And
sometimes
at one point I was thinking,
care of yourself.
Yeah, at one point I was thinking about running for city council, and another time I'm just like, my boundary is with the front door of my apartment building, and when we're having troubles with the building 5 years ago, and people were sort of uniting and talking, that's when I met most of my neighbors, and they remembered me as the person that was like sticking up for them in those meetings where they're disrespecting the people that lived in the apartment. And now we have a different management that don't even know that I used to be loudmouth. And my place here at the Continental Towers is a little bit like my place at Jambo Java, where I got hired when they opened it, and then I got laid off, and then I got hired back, and I just pretended I was a quick learner, and then I got laid off, and then I hired every time the business was sold 5 times, and each time the business was sold, I'd go in and act like I was a quick learner, learn the ropes, how to make coffee
very quickly.
And I still have, like, I was so flaky though, like I would miss whole shifts, and somebody would cover for me, and I still have these random dreams where I've missed like weeks of shifts at this coffee shop, but they still have me on the schedule. So like, am I supposed to show up, or they've been meaning to fire me, but they still have me on the schedule and then want me to work the shift but be fired at the end of the shift? I'm like, dude, I'm not going to stick around for the shift if I don't have to be here. And that's like one of my reoccurring nightmares, that I've been missing shifts at Jambo Java. My other reoccurring nightmare is that I'm homeless again. And the one where I need to get back to Calgary from Vancouver with no pants happens all the time. I need to get on the train, get to the airport, and get back to Calgary and get somehow to the school before my class starts, because I'm supposed to be teaching and I don't have pants. That's one of my worst, least favorite nightmares. Yeah. What time is it now? 9:22. Do you remember what time we've been going to?
Around 9:36.
We accidentally went to around 9:45 the other night, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Rich.
Hello.
I used to work at Robin's Donuts. Night shift.
Yeah. On 4th Street?
No, Deer Run.
Deer Run.
Yeah.
Tell me more about where Deer Run is. Is it in the northeast?
Southeast. Southwest? Southeast.
My daughter Robin, her mom was in a Robin's Donut when her water broke. The one on 14th Street near 17th Avenue. That Robin's Donuts eventually turned into that Spanish place where the guy with the machetes came from. You remember the guy with the machetes? Were you there? Not you. Sorry, I was talking to Jesse. If Jesse met the guy with a guy came into a gorilla house with a machete, because my building and their building got hit by a graffiti.
Good night, Josie.
Good night, Josie.
Have a good day tomorrow.
And he's like, I want to talk to these guys that spray painted on my building. I'm like, well, they spray painted on my building too, and I don't know what their names are. And he opened up his what do you call it? Those coats. He had like a trench coat on the inside. He had like 4 hanging machetes to show me that he was serious about finding these graffiti kids that had marked up their building. I was like, I don't know them. They painted on my building too. What?
I love that.
What is it?
Kermit.
And Panda?
And animals.
They're more like phantoms in the background.
Yeah, I like that. That negative space is really good. Mm-hmm.
Kelly, did you end up seeing the Space Hero X?
Yep.
Did you see you'd asked if we would do some stop motion animation?
Yep.
Did you see the stop motion animation?
No. I saw the last one you did, which is the one of the clay.
How did
that's the one.
Oh, okay. So then I did see it. Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you suggested?
No, I suggested puppets, I think.
Oh, we had puppets last week.
Oh, yeah, you did the puppet one. So yeah, stop at
We had puppets on the week that you suggested it, and then I think what you suggested was like claymation.
Yeah, that's the one. Yep. Now I remember.
Put a claymation little blue purple guy up my sleeve.
Yep.
No, I'm not going to hand draw animate one. That's too much work. But you can download Flip-A-Clip. I'd be happy to put up your animations if you want to animate some.
Yeah, if I have time.
Have you done any animation?
No. Oh, no, I haven't. No.
I have a film that I made when I was in art school that was around 2 minutes long, and the next film I made was 3 minutes long, and I was working on a film that was 5 minutes long. But back then I was hand drawing on plastic sheets the way they did at Disney or on Hanna-Barbera cartoons. The only thing is, and this was my sneak, I cut my cells to a quarter size so I could do all the work for a quarter amount of the paint supplies, and I could do all my work for in a quarter amount of time. The only thing is I still had to hand draw and shoot and animate and do the sound myself. And that was long before you could really animate on computers. And so that's where I got my animation background. But it's not really a skill for everybody, because you really need to be able to zone out and spend 2 days by yourself just kind of doing these tiny little movements and motions. And so I teach an animation class, but I would say 1 out of every 30 kids can kind of pull it off. It's not really an everybody thing.
I think I did in high school. I did the one where it's the flip
books.
The flip book, where you actually do a drawing and they keep changing it, and then you flip it and it looks like it's moving.
Yeah, I used to do flip books when I was supposed to be reading. So all the novels I was supposed to be reading had flip books in them.
That's the only animation I think of. The flip book.
And did you enjoy that?
Yeah, it was fun.
What I'd suggest you try is Flip-A-Clip on your. Do you have an iPad?
Steve does. I'd have to learn how to use it.
They're not difficult. They're very user friendly. But ask Steve if you can try Flip-A-Clip on your iPad. You can get it for free. If you want to remove the tag where it says Flip-A-Clip in the corner, you can buy it once for like $7, and then you don't have to have the logo on it. But if you're interested in animation, I would highly recommend Flip-A-Clip.
Can you get Flip-A-Clip on an Android or a Samsung, or no?
Do you have an Android tablet or a phone?
I have an Android tablet.
I'm sure they have it for Androids as well. I don't know if it's the same name, but they would have something like that.
Right.
But also it should be on a tablet, because you need a bigger space and probably a pen to be able to pull off a good animation.
Okay.
My animations that I do in the credits are all done in Flip-A-Clip.
Because there's another program I saw. It's called Blender.
Yeah, Blender works.
Yeah, I have Blender on my PC. I just haven't used it.
You should use it.
I don't have a lot of time. Not lately.
You should make time.
Yeah.
Life is short, you know?
I know. Are you all healed up now from your injury?
I'm a mutant.
You're a mutant?
Heal.
They keep telling me at physio I'm a mutant on 2 levels. They're like, wow, you heal fast. You're like one of those mutants from the TV show. Are you sure you were really injured? And then they look at my file. They're like, oh, you were really injured. So they're kind of shocked at how quickly I heal. And the other thing is they put me on this machine that's supposed to be painful. And they're like, oh, we're going to turn this on. Just let me know when it hurts. I'm like, look, I'm going to be really straight with you. I don't think I feel pain the way I'm supposed to. I'm not trying to be macho in any way. I'm not sure if I'm going to know when I'm supposed to feel the pain. And I heard my physio guy tell the assistant, like, he's got some situation where he doesn't really feel pain properly. He's not wired right. So just be careful you don't turn it up too high. And this kid's like smirking. He's like, can you feel that? And I'm like, not really. He's like, can you feel that? I'm like, I know it's there, but it doesn't hurt. He's like, can you feel that? And I'm like, yeah, it's okay. It's starting to feel interesting. He's like, but it doesn't hurt. I'm like, I can feel it. Like, I know I can feel like electricity shooting in my arm. I can start my arm flopping around like a dead fish. And he goes, do you want to go higher? I'm like, should I? And he's like, it's pretty high. So, like, just the tone in his voice when he said it's pretty high, I think he's kind of pushing the envelope for how high he'd ever turn the machine up. But I'm not boasting. I'm not saying I'm tough. I'm just saying I don't think, not entirely. In terms of like physical pain, I'm quite tolerant. When it comes to heat pain, I'm kind of a wuss. I don't like being burned, but I seem to be able to take a lot of like, I'm a Timex. I can take a licking and keep on ticking.
It's like kind of like me. It's the TENS unit they put on you to make you flop around like a fish.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
It's called a TENS unit.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's a TENS unit. It's supposed to stimulate your muscles.
Yeah. And do you find that, do you have pain from this? Why do they keep asking me if I'm going to be in pain?
They just want to see if you can feel it and if it's hurting you. But for me, I turn it up pretty far too, about 25 or almost up to 30.
Yeah, it's kind of like you kind of get off on it, like woo woo.
Well, it doesn't hurt. It just feels kind of cool, kind of a cool feeling of your muscles kind of moving.
Yeah.
Steven can't. He doesn't mind it, but he says it feels weird.
For me, when it was turned up to the point where the guy was kind of concerned, it felt like water was being spilled on me. It just felt like if I put my arm under the tap. So I don't know. I hope it's not. My fear is that my mom's got Parkinson's, and sometimes I worry that it's not so much that I have a high pain tolerance as that maybe I just headed for Parkinson's. It's not supposed to be genetic, but maybe it is.
No, I think you're just wired wrong, like wired different than everybody else. I'm wired differently as well. Like the pain, I told Steven the pain was the lower ankle. I think because I've been working out, it would have been much worse if I hadn't been working out.
Yeah. Or even like I remember getting stung by a bee when I was riding a bike, and I saw the bee land on my leg, and I was still pedaling, and I saw it like decide to stick its stinger in me. It stuck its stinger in me, and then it must have died. And I remember watching this bee dangling off its stinger. Its stinger was in my calf, and the bee was just my hands were busy because I was bike riding, and I would glance down every now and then, waiting for the bee to sort of fall off of its stinger. And then when we finally got where we're going, I got off my bike and kind of like wiped the bee off, and it didn't swell up and it didn't hurt, but I think it was because my legs were pumping the bike when I got stung. But it wasn't like a little sting; it was like the bee stuck its stinger in.
It was attached.
Bounced it around for a while, ripped its own stinger out of its butt, died on my leg, and then just dangled out of my leg for a while I was bike riding. And that wasn't the worst thing that happened to me. One time a bird flew into my front wheel, spun around, smacked into my forks, and splattered bird guts all over me. That happened to me on my motorcycle and my bicycle a couple of times. And what was some other things? I ran over a gopher on my bicycle when I was a kid. That was my first experience with mortality. There was this gopher. There's two things happening on the same day. One, this older guy that was kind of the neighborhood bully showed up with a great giant golden retriever, no, German Shepherd, and he would hold the German Shepherd on a leash until it saw a gopher at this bike park we used to ride at, and then he would let the German Shepherd go, and it would run over and eat the gopher. And I thought it was really strange that the German Shepherd had a green tongue. I was like, why does that dog got a green tongue? And it wasn't until like years later I realized the gophers were eating grass and it was eating gophers, and it stained its tongue green from eating gophers. But in that same day that this guy was fixing his dog on the gophers,
you should sit over here people can see you.
No, it's okay. I ran over a gopher, and it was sort of half dead and twitching. And I remember looking at this gopher thinking, I'm going to put that gopher out of its misery. So I picked up a rock and I tried to throw the rock at it, and I just kind of half missed and made it worse. And the gopher was twitching even more. So I got down on my hands and knees and I picked up the rock and I smashed the gopher to put it out of its misery. Weirdly enough, my friend Carl told me the exact same story. Only in his case, he didn't smash the gopher. He just chickened out and watched it die slowly.
It?
But it was just that we had the exact same childhood story. Yeah. And it reminded me of Blade Runner, when everybody had the same memory.
Implanted memory.
Yeah, like an implanted memory that Carl and I had that were...
and then they just...
we only had the different...
ending.
Yeah, we had different endings. So I see there's 5 people with us. We're getting about 15,000 views a week. And with our 15,000 views, we have about 8,000 what's the other word? 15,000 reach of about 8,000 a week, 15,000 views, 5 people online. I am curious of the 5 people online, how many people you're in the room with. And if you can tell me that, I can do some calculations to sort of figure out some averages. We're kind of doing some Fermi numbers to figure out who's watching. And I had to break down what that meant. I went in and I used some research tool called ChatGPT, and I compared, cross-referenced some things. And I took the reach and the views, and I went through all the explanations in all the websites, and then I started doing some cross-referencing and some research and some planning, some breaking down. And I kind of broke it down on an estimate and a formula that I created that I think we're probably getting 800 people connected to us a week. And it's growing a little bit every week, and it helps if you click share and like. And it would help me a little bit if I knew if I've got 5 viewers, if 5 people watching by themselves, or if anybody's watching with a friend, that'd be really helpful to know. If you want to text me independently or just comment in the box. I'm trying to get a better sense of who we're actually speaking to, because it's more than 5 and it's less than 15,000.
That's a good range.
But my best calculation right now, based on things that I actually know versus things that I'm like feedback I'm getting from the social media. And I don't want, like, I'm not trying to count like people that are watching, 3 seconds because the thing passed by their computer. I think we have around 400 to 800 viewers a week that join in, most of which are watching on the weekend. Nice. So we're still doing our live feeds on Wednesdays, but most of our views are happening over the weekend. And the only trouble with that is I'd love to hear from people a little more. I'm a little lonely here. I'm not lonely. I'm sitting with Jessica Teru, and it's awesome. But I miss the crowd. I miss the peoples.
The feedback. So we very much appreciate you guys, Amanda, Josie, Kelly. We very much appreciate you guys speaking with us, and Theo when he comes in. And
Kelly, did you hear from Theo tonight?
No, I sent him the link. I never saw anything pop up.
Okay. Thank you for sending it to him, though.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you for joining us, and thank you everyone for watching.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.